All right, all right, all right. We have a special one today, this week, episode 36. Welcome, fam and friends and listeners. We have episode 36 this week of the Backlog Chronicles. I am yours truly, Dr. Mo Kalma, with my man, as always, Machine Gun Mike. Mikey, what's up, brother?
Nothing much, Mo. Just chilling. I'm glad it's Thursday. That's all I gotta say.
Yes, sir. Thursday, when we record, we always know the
Yeah,
weekend's here, baby.
yeah, it's a good day.
We got a special one today, making his appearance with us for the first time. Is our brother, Xbox Guru, Xbox Ambassador. Any other asterisk you want to put next to your name, Colt? My man, Colt Eastwood. Colt,
Yeah,
what
thank
is
you.
up, my friend?
Thanks for having me on. Well, it's good to be around Mo again and again and again, but this is a new place to be, and it is super exciting talking Xbox and gaming right now. Like everything's changing, everything's getting better and better. So that's good to be talking about it today.
Absolutely, man. It was a good week too. By the way, full disclosure to anybody listening, Colt is a Colt is the man, honestly, because he did this on short notice, and I want everybody to know I appreciate you, man.
No problem.
And making his return, Jordan. Is this your second time or your third time, bro?
Second.
Second? Oh wow, why was I thinking it was your third time? Well, making his return for the second time, our friend and our brother, Mr. Jordan, the squeaky clean Xbox ambassador. What's up, baby?
Not much, man. I've been enjoying a string of days off from work, so I've mostly just been going to the gym and playing games, man.
Nice.
Thank you for having me back on. It's good to talk to you and Mike, and good to finally get around with you too, Colt.
Absolutely, man. Oh yeah, that's what we do. That's why we do this. So yeah, before we dive into the list of stuff that we're going to talk about, usually we kind of just start out with what we're playing and stuff like that. And Colt, I'll lead off with you, my brother. What do you got going on, man? What have you been playing? What's new?
I spent the weekend playing a bunch of old dusty Xbox FPS boosted games.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of interesting. Went back and played Far Cry 4, which I haven't played in
Oh, nice.
like 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
and played some Watch Dogs 2, which I actually finally finished that game up a few months ago for Legions. But yeah, I've also been playing the Division 2, which got patched. And I guess
Nice.
the overarching theme here is that if you patch and improve older games, people like me will flock to them and give them more time and more attention. And I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I do too, man. Honestly, that's something that I really do appreciate, which is why we are going to talk about the FPS boost later, and we're going to end up leading off too with God of War's enhancement. You know, because that definitely something like a game like that. You know, the games that really, I mean, I don't want to just label them. You know, like just a game doesn't have to be special. You know, in order to receive that type of love. You know, whether it's an
Mhm.
FPS boost or a resolution boost or whatever it is, but it's good to see. You know, I mean, look, but both of them have their own approaches on things for now. You know, obviously Sony is doing it game by game basis, depending on how big the game is or whatever, and Xbox is just like, hey, you know what? We're just gonna freaking do everything at a hardware level and try to, you know, we're gonna try to take away as little work or as much work from the on the developer end as possible. You know, so I love
Mhm.
it, man. It works out great. We all win, and it's fantastic. But yeah, man, I'm glad to see that you dove into those older games because I want to pick your brain about them later on.
Okay.
Jordan, what about you, brother? What are you playing? I know what you're playing, but I want you
I
to
was I
tell
was gonna
people what
say,
you're
yeah,
playing.
you could probably answer that question, but yeah, no, I have been playing a mixture of PGA
Yes,
2K12
sir.
almost every night with you and a couple of the guys from Seasoned Gaming, and it's a freaking blast. I I'm not a huge fan of sports games, but I've always had a soft spot for golf, and there's just something about the change of pace because I'm always playing shooters or action games, whereas this you can just settle down and just talk to your boys and swing some clubs and hopefully hit the fairway.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
aside from that, I did check out some of the updates like the Division 2, and it does look awesome in
Mhm.
60 frames.
Mhm.
And I just blasted through Little Nightmares 2, which is an incredible game.
Oh yes, it is,
And
man.
anybody out there
Oh yes,
that's
it
any
is.
fan of side scrollers or puzzle platformers, you have to play this game. You have to.
Oh yeah. Colt, have you tried the Little Nightmares yet?
Yes, I've started into the first one actually a couple weeks
Yes.
ago. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I did too, man. That's what I just finished the first one a few nights ago.
There's
I,
so much like inside, and it's in so many
Yes.
ways. Like it's kind of got
Yes.
that. They're both very eerie, but yeah,
so
I
good,
haven't put a
man.
lot of time into it yet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I hope you end up enjoying that, man, because they are pretty special. Mike, by you, man. What's going on? Are you getting excited for that Avengers Next Gen enhancement patch
That's
thing?
a fucking laugh, to be quite honest with you, Mo. Sure. I mean, yeah, I'm excited for anything that game gets that's updated or upgraded, for crying out loud. Oh my goodness. To be quite honest, that game is in one of the worst states that it's been in recently.
Damn,
That's
man.
yeah, that's coming from a guy who does Avengers videos on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally in the worst state, and I've still been playing it. So
Mm-hmm.
hey. I have been playing since we last talked, Mo. I started up Yakuza 0, and I was not ready for that, but I liked where it was going. It was a
Mm-hmm.
long haul. Like I was like, okay, so this is like a fucking movie at first. Like, let's get into
Yes.
this, you know?
Yes. Yes.
And so like I wasn't ready for that, but then I quickly got on to like I kept caught onto it, you know, and I was like, all right, here we go. I wish there was more combat, but I liked what I saw in the upgrade tabs and all that kind of stuff. I was like, okay, I like this a lot. I'm gonna revisit this.
Oh, you'll get combat. You'll get combat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just wait for it to get fleshed out a little more. It does start out a little slow to kind of ease you
Right.
into the
Yeah.
the setting and the characters and whatnot. But
Yeah.
oh no, you will, dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
you'll
it
be
took
like
me
just walking
about
down the street and some punks will just want to pick a fight with you, and
right.
you can either run away from them or you can just beat the shit out of them. So
Right. Yeah, that's exactly where I got to, where it start like you can walk around, do certain things, you can run into random fights and then like
Mhm.
back away and stuff, and you get money to upgrade by fighting. Like I was like, okay, I like this little loop or whatever it has going on. Plus the combat feels really good and the story's interesting. I did have that feeling though where I was like, damn, this is gonna take forever, huh?
yeah,
Because I kind of just wanted to get into it.
yeah,
But all right.
they're not short. Yeah,
Yeah, so I stopped my breaks a little bit and I was like, okay, like I put an hour and a half or 2 hours in there and I was like, I will revisit this because I saw what I liked. I was actually paying attention this time. And
but
then,
tell us what you shifted gears to, because that's what we want to hear.
well, I've shifted gears to a lot of shit, but just recently today, man, I was like, I want something to play on my Xbox that because I'm using that Game Pass Ultimate, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted something that I haven't played before, or at least I haven't played in a long time. So I was like, this Halo series is looking mighty fine, right, from my angle here. So I texted Mo earlier today, guys, and I was like, yo, Mo, if I were to start on Halo, like, should I start on 3, recap on YouTube? Like, where should I go here? And he was like, recaps 1 through 3, start on Reach. And I was like, okay, Mo, I'm telling you right now, that little 45 minutes that I had worth of recapping 1 through 3, bro,
Yes.
I was like, this is what Xbox was doing back in the day. I remember 1 and 2 very well, like playing with my friends and the story, and it all came back to me. I'm like, I remember this mission. Okay, I remember these parts. I didn't remember the story that well, but I was like, whoa, dude. And then I didn't know that they had some like upgraded graphic thing for the
anniversary.
Yeah. And I was like, and this dude was showing the difference, and I was just like, whoa. And these cutscenes, holy Moses, dude, these cutscenes were looking fine. Like today's type of cutscenes, like movie quality. I was just very impressed with it. And so I'm going to get into that. I've gotten into fighting games lately. I don't know why. I was watching some YouTube video of some badass fighting guy who like came back and beat 4 dudes, and I was like, this is why fighting games are badass, you know? And so I started playing Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and I was like, all right, I don't like this. And then I started playing Injustice 2, and I was like, all right, I didn't like this. And then just so happened today, some freaking crazy trailer came out, and I was like, you know what? I got that game, 11, Mortal Kombat 11. I'm going to play that game. I'm loving it right now. And right before we got on to podcast with everybody, I did my first online battle. I got my ass whooped, and I was literally pissed off. Like, you know, where you're like, fuck this game.
Yeah.
That pissed off. I was that mad. And I was like, man, I was so pissed off too. And then you hit me up. I was like, I gotta chill. I gotta chill. And I have it up on my screen right now. Like, you lose. I'm like, oh, right. But yeah, this week will be Halo. Oh, and I also been playing a lot of Division 2 as well. So
Nice,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. That's awesome. You've been all over the place, man.
Yes, I have. I
love
have
it.
recently.
I love it. You're trying to find your footing somewhere. That's cool,
Yes.
man.
Yes.
That's cool. Yeah, for me, like Jordan said, man, we've been playing golf a lot, which has been sucking up a lot of my time at night. It's just
Yeah.
Cole, I don't know if you've played any golf games or if you ever have, but have you?
I have not in a long time.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think back on the 360, I played. Oh my gosh, it was probably
Tiger
PGA
Woods?
9 or something.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
The one if you got the tee off just right, he did the Happy Gilmore. I thought that was freaking amazing. And the funny thing is, like, I'm not into golf.
Yeah.
But like, I know that it's a cool sport, but it's funny if I sit and play a golf game, I'd get into it, and I've kind of avoided it for that reason.
Yeah.
Because I would
You're a smart man.
sink the putt on some time on a game like that. Yeah, I've got a couple friends who are like die hard into the PGA games and the golf games, and I haven't played them in a long time.
It's like it has its own community. It's crazy. Those sports
It
games.
really does, man.
They
It
do,
does,
yeah.
honestly. And for me, I haven't played any golf games since they pretty much took Tiger Woods off of the cover of the EA of the EA Sports version.
Yeah,
right.
Why'd they do that?
Well,
kidding.
no, remember the scandal
I know,
he had
I
and
know.
whatever. Oh, I thought you were being an asshole. So then I started getting into it a few weeks ago, man, and we've just been. It's like Jordan said earlier. It's a really nice change of pace, because you're factoring in so much crap, but at the same time, it's like a relaxed way to just hang out and talk to your friends. And then there's so much comedy involved too. If you shoot a bad shot, somebody will get stuck in the freaking trees. Somebody will hit the ball off of a freaking cliff. It's hilarious, man. The game's got its own way of being funny without intending to be funny. It's so strange how much comedy is involved with that game on a nightly basis. So I'm not really the biggest golf fan. I'll watch the occasional, tour, or I'll watch the occasional major, depending on who's playing. But golf itself, the golf video games is what taught me the sport. Without actually caring for the sport so much, I just actually love playing the golf video games a lot more than I actually do enjoy the sport, because in real life I freaking suck. I'm terrible, man. But yeah, there's that, and then I finished Little Nightmares a few days ago, which was fantastic. I advise anybody who's an Inside fan, to try it. Really, I was pushed by Jordan and a couple other guys to finally play it. Because Little Nightmares 2 was just receiving all these accolades, and my FOMO kicked in, and I'm like, oh shit! All right, I really, really have to hunker down and try at least the first Little Nightmares, and I don't regret it. And now I'm making my way through Little Nightmares 2, which takes things to the next level. Although I want to ask the developers about Little Nightmares 2, because there's no HDR right now, and apparently it's not optimized for the Series X, but auto HDR does not kick in for the game. I don't know why. Because last night was the first night I started playing it, and auto HDR just doesn't kick in. And then I was like, okay, just to make sure, even though I knew it wasn't my Xbox, I loaded another, like PGA Tour, for instance, because that's not optimized. But when you start it, auto HDR kicks in, and that one worked just fine. But for some reason, it's not kicking in with Little Nightmares, and I have no idea why. I don't know if they intended that or if that just wasn't something that they came to. But Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a bug or something that's not working right. I don't.
Sure.
I think they have it on everything. Even there are some titles that have auto HDR that don't look better. There's a few that do not look better with auto
Right.
HDR, and you just have to
Right.
deal with it.
Yeah.
But Jason Ronald, the head of Xbox hardware, said that they're bringing in a toggle for HDR, but on the
Mm-hmm.
user side,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the other part we'll talk about later. But that's weird. I know there have been problems where the panel uh, won't engage with auto HDR, so you'll go into a game and it won't switch to HDR mode,
Yeah.
or it's the Xbox. We haven't quite figured that out yet. But
Right. 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 But yeah, but it possibly could. Jordan, does your auto HDR kick in, or have you just not paid attention to it?
I actually, yeah, no, good question. I actually never noticed it. I don't think it did kick in, but at the same time,
It's
I felt that the whole color
yeah.
palette of the game
Yeah.
was fine as it was. It was
Yeah.
beautiful throughout. So I was never kind of like, this looks flat, But
Yeah. Well, the thing.
no, I never actually looked for that.
No, yeah, yeah. I don't blame you. The game is beautiful, man. It's got this really nice art style itself, which really, I mean, that was just like my nerd inside, just wanting it to
Yeah.
happen because it worked on the first Little Nightmares, right? The auto HDR kicked in. It always kicks in when you load the Little Nightmares 1, but whatever. Enough about auto HDR. They'll figure it out. All right, boys. Let's get into this week's topics. There's quite a few, and there's some meaty stuff. Um, First one I will lead off with is God of War. So God of War, which obviously everyone knows, God of War 2018, one of the marquee games of the last generation. It finally received the upgrade that a lot of people really have been waiting for, including myself. I platinumed the game, the only platinum I've ever cared for, and the only platinum I've ever done. So um, it's finally 60 frames per second in quality mode, and the quality mode being checkerboard 4K on the PS4 Pro, but obviously now on the PS5. So I don't know if they could have pushed it to native, considering that the game is so visually, stunning. Maybe they could have, but they probably just didn't. I'm not sure. Maybe the Colt. I'll wait on your take for that one, but. Just reading really Digital Foundry's analysis of the game, and they just said this is the game. This is the way the game is intended to be played. This is the way that it's intended to be. It's incredible. It looks incredible, and just based off of their analysis, the checkerboard 4K version for the game was just implemented so well that you would be hard pressed. You would be really hard pressed to notice any difference between native 4K and checkerboard, at least with that game. Obviously with checkerboard, you're always going to notice like this little artifacting, but for people, normal gamers like us who are just sitting back, about 10 feet from the TV, well, you're not going to notice it and you're not going to see it. So for me personally, because this is one of my favorite games of all time, I'm just happy to see it. I don't know when the hell I'm going to get back to it. I've been really itching to do it, but it's going to come at the cost of, because if I start God of War again, I am going to fully commit to it, and that's just, I don't know if I have it in me right now to commit 50 hours again, 40 to 50 hours again for it. But Colt, where are you at on this, man? I know you're always you're always in the know about improvements and all this kind of stuff, and I'm assuming you played God of War. Like, what do you think about this?
oh yeah, I actually meant to replay God of War when I got the PS5.
Mm-hmm.
And I loaded it up before the patch, and I'm like, oh my gosh, because I only played it at 30 on a base PS4 at 30
Sure.
FPS.
Sure.
And it automatically runs at 60 with that first patch they did. And I'm like, oh my god, no, it's not a patch. It's I'm playing the PS4 Pro version on the PS5.
Yes.
So I get 60 frames. It actually holds it
In the
the way it's
performance.
supposed to in
You're right.
performance mode. Yeah. So I played like through the first 25 minutes or so, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And then when I heard it got patched, I'm like, why? Like, it looks phenomenal as is.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I'm not sure if that game could run at native 4K 60 with that GPU, like with how much with the GPU accelerated particles in there. And yeah, it looks incredible. I wouldn't want it any other way. Like dynamic 4K at 60, people should not be asking for native 4K. Like a dynamic 4K at 60 is a top tier experience. I mean,
Oh yeah.
PC gamers with big rigs are enjoying that right now, and they've been enjoying that for a couple of years.
Yes, sir.
If you're anywhere near 1440p at 60 at that quality,
Mhm.
you are a happy gamer.
Oh yeah.
So
Absolutely,
I'm
man.
like you. I would commit to restarting God of War and going through the whole game again, but this actually might be a good time to do that. Really, I'm just kind of like surprised on my
Yeah.
own.
Yeah,
So-
there is, man. Yeah, that's why I was, because there are a few. There is like a small lull period right now. I guess before there's like Returnal and obviously the Mayhem. That's
Mhm.
coming out in May. So, but yeah, dude, there's too much to play right now to commit to it. Mike, where you at on this, man? Did you know about this? I know you played God of War before.
Oh man, yeah. I didn't know about this specific one, but they're gonna keep this game on that what is it called where you keep something and it has like a rayish sunshine like aiming down on it.
It's one of their marquee titles.
Pedestal.
Yeah.
It is, dude.
Oh yeah.
It is. They're gonna keep
Mhm.
this bad boy up to date as much as is possible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
I'm
Jordan,
about it. Yeah, I'm about
I
it. And I bet
Jordan,
it looks good.
did you watch God of War?
Yes, I did, man. It was a great interactive movie.
Oh man,
Mike,
were you?
no, Mike, the word I think you were thinking of was pedestal. Mike.
Pedestal. Yeah, I was gonna say plateau for some reason. Yeah, pedestal.
I got you. No, I think it's cool. I mean, like I said, if you can make something that's good even better,
Yes,
why not?
absolutely.
So that's kind of a no-brainer for me, and that's kind of all I have to say about
When is
that. Really.
Bloodborne gonna get that treatment?
yeah.
Uh,
They're not gonna do. They're gonna like re-release Bloodborne or freaking remake it or something. I don't know
Yeah,
how to say. I
something.
mean, I have no freaking idea. But you would figure that one of the most popular games on the platform by now would have
Right.
received that type of update. So
Yeah.
the fact that it has not, something is going on. I don't know. Colt, what do you think, bro? This is like a tangential topic. You know how popular Bloodborne is. I mean,
Yeah, I've been hearing Bloodborne 60 FPS requests like nonstop
Yeah.
ever since the new console came out. Yeah, I heard it a lot in the interview I did about the FPS boost. Like, where's Sony on this one?
Mhm.
I think one of the this is so horrible, but one of the biggest problems that we have to deal with as far as having your legacy, catalog come with you and
Mhm.
keep your games alive. One of the biggest I don't know what the word is. One of the biggest problems with this is developers and publishers are keen to do their own upgrades, and many of them are keen to charge for them. So I think the biggest enemy right now of having a game, patched to run, because it's held back by that old CPU, and now on the PS5 and Xbox Series consoles, on all three of them, you can
Mhm.
run nearly anything at 60 that was last generation. But some of these publishers are like, nah, we're gonna pay our teams 2 weeks time to redo that and do a remaster. There's just too many publishers that are going to do that. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 is another one I hear a lot. I want
Oh yeah.
Red Dead Redemption 2 at 60, and then we know dang well that Rockstar is like, yeah, we can do that, but we can also,
Mhm.
repackage it and sell it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's another one. That's
It's
another one
true.
for
It's
sure.
very
Red Dead
true.
Redemption
The
2.
biggest, most prolifically, financially well-sounded publishers who make the most money in the industry are like, we'll make you a remaster. It's like, oh man, you got like 4A games,
Yeah.
who is a smaller like AAA team who's like, hey, we're gonna update the heck out of Metro Exodus. We're gonna bring it up the resolution and the settings and ray tracing at 60, and when it's done, we're gonna give you the free patch.
Yeah,
So.
man. Yeah, definitely. They definitely need to do that at least for RDR2. And honestly, I could honestly see them releasing
Me too.
yeah, man. I
Me
mean,
too.
it's
Like an
Rockstar,
ultimate
man.
version or something. Yeah.
You know what, man? If Nintendo can get away with that bullshit, why the hell can't
Yeah,
Rockstar?
seriously. Look at the GTA 5 players. Those people are like literally still playing that game all the time. Like there's a lot of people who play that game still.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah,
I know a lot
Rockstar
of
like
people,
yeah.
I know a lot of people who would be happy with that one. Definitely. All right. So next thing is, just to touch on it real quick. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is, we're talking about Remedy Entertainment. So, you know, ever since ever since Control came out, there's always been talks about, Control just underperforming sales wise. And me personally, I do think that the studio themselves, I've discussed this multiple times before on the show. I think the studio is really, really underappreciated, and I think it sucks because they're the only studio, they're one of the few studios who always produce new IPs, and for some reason, they're just not as well accepted as they should be. You went from Alan Wake, which was excellent, you to Quantum Break, which was excellent, to Control, which was excellent. All three different IPs, and they critically were all lauded, but commercially, for some reason, like they did good, but they didn't do as great as they should have, at least, or in some people, or in a lot of analysts' opinions. So, seeing Remedy and just all this crap, over the past couple of years of whether they're going to get acquired or bought, or their rosy relationship with PlayStation or whatever it is. And obviously they have a few projects that are going on, but they basically had their best financial year ever in 2020. Their revenue rose 30%. Control apparently still has strong legs, and obviously, especially now, considering it's on Game Pass and and the Ultimate Edition was offered with PS Plus, and then they have Crossfire X. They're doing the campaign side of the game, which is coming to exclusively to Xbox. And then apparently they have a co-op game named Vanguard, and there's two other games that are published by Epic. These are all in development, so they have four projects right now in development. So seeing this makes me happy because the studio obviously is making money. They're doing well. They're successful. They're obviously being recruited to by different publishers to make different games for them. And this to me is good news. Will we see sequels to Alan Wake or Quantum Break or Control? I mean, who knows right now, to be honest with you. But I'm glad to at least see that they are doing well on that end. What do you think about all this, Colt?
Remedy's a tough one.
Yeah, it is.
Everybody's asking for Alan Wake. Alan Wake rated really well. I don't know why they don't feel like that's a popular enough franchise to return. They seem to dabble around some of the Control has hints of Quantum Break, which didn't do real well. So they love Quantum Break and they know they have fans. And we don't know anything about Crossfire X's campaign. Like that could be a big deal. Like that could be a thing where people are like, wow, this campaign was just like a Call of Duty campaign. Like it hit all the notes that we like in a first person shooter campaign. It was really cool. But we don't know. And part of the problem is there's a pandemic, so everything's on hold, and we haven't even heard about everything that's on hold. So I don't know what's going on with Remedy right now. They've got a lot of stuff going on, and they're really talented. I don't like everything they do. I loved Alan Wake. I liked Quantum Break. I didn't like Control.
Yeah.
I've nearly finished it. The game was very pretentious, and I got lost constantly, which is part of what you're supposed to do, but the map had problems on console. It was, popping in and out and not working correctly. And the game just kind of irritated me, and I didn't enjoy it like I would most other games. So I'm a mixed bag with Remedy. I know
you know what though? I'm with you on that end because, Quantum Break was I thought it was really, really good, but I did not end up finishing it. I did get through Alan Wake. I loved Alan Wake, man.
Yeah.
I loved Alan Wake. And
I don't like horror games. Like I went through it because I was so enamored of the game. Yeah,
I don't like horror games either, man. Full disclosure, I hate horror games, dude. Oh my god! But but with Control, yeah. So I sank some time into Control. Jordan, I know you played Control, so I'm gonna get your opinion on this in a bit, but I did sink some time into Control, but for some reason it just didn't sync with me, like you were saying. I don't want to say that look. I'm the type that if a game doesn't resonate with you, I will never ever say that the game is bad. right? Because that's
Right.
just a wrong thing to say, at least in my opinion, because you see people doing that all the time, and I think that's such a bad way to look at things.
A
If you
bad
don't,
game is one that doesn't
yeah,
work. You can't play
exactly,
it, or
yeah.
yeah.
So that's the thing. Like for me, it didn't resonate with me so well to the point where I didn't feel like I needed to finish it. I felt like I had just seen enough of it. But most of the people that you talk to who have played it, they absolutely love it. So, Jordan, I'll have you jump in here because I know
Yeah.
you're an Xbox guy, and I'm sure you've played all three games at some point. What do you think of
Yes. No.
what do you think of this and with Remedy and whatnot?
No. I think it's awesome. I've always been a fan of Remedy. I think back to the first time I played Max Payne on the original Xbox, and since then, any Remedy game that comes out, you kind of know what you're going to get. You get this third-person perspective, you get really good gunplay, and I felt that with Control. And this is kind of because I'm on kind of on the opposite spectrum for you guys. I really liked Control, and I feel like that's kind of been their best go at a third-person shooter. And for me, I think it's just I really enjoy the world building as far as the Federal Bureau of Control's map and everything. Yes, it's a confusing map. I totally agree with you on that, Colt. And I had a bunch of issues on the Series X version where the menu and every time you open up the inventory of the map, it would just slow down. So I shelved it and I waited for the Ultimate Edition to come out with the next gen enhancements. And I've been playing it again, and it looks awesome in 60 frames. It
Mhm.
still has some stuttering. It actually crashes to dashboard a few times,
Oh man.
but overall, I like how they do their storytelling. With the full motion video kind of injected into the actual gameplay. There's a ton of lore in this game, probably more than I'll ever read, but I just like how weird and uh, unique the way they approach storytelling in this game, especially.
Yeah, no, that's good, man. Sorry, dude. I was looking at my phone. Sorry about that
You're good, brother.
pause.
You're good.
Yeah, dude. No, that's good. Mike, did you play any of the Remedy games?
I was gonna say no, but when Jordan mentioned Max Payne, I was like, okay, I did play the shit out of that when I was
Yeah, of
young.
course.
But all those other games, Alan Wake and Quantum Break, even Control, like I have it downloaded, but I haven't played it. I haven't played none of those games, but they intrigued me from how far I was from them, and I always like told myself like, oh, I like what that idea of Quantum Break is. I've heard how good Alan Wake is. Control does look cool to me. Hearing all those kind of little bug issues, though, I'm like, ugh, I'm kind of been already playing a buggy game for a while, so I'm kind of like over bugs right now. But
Mhm.
I have been hearing from like other people because it's been free on PlayStation. They're like, "Oh man, I'm playing that right now, and that game is nuts, man. It's nuts, you know." So like when Jordan says weird and unique, like I definitely see that. Even without playing the games, I see that, and that is a weird thing, Mo. It's like these is a game series that you have said where it's like people want new IPs, they get them, especially from these people,
Mhm.
and nothing, and like that's true. And I guess it's like I'm one of those people that's like I haven't really played them, so and it's like I haven't really have they don't look so interesting to me that like would go real far out of my way to play them. But because of the convenience with Control and stuff like that, I'm definitely gonna at least try it out to see if I like it
Mm,
sometime soon. I'm gonna give it a go.
sure.
But yeah, I think that's good for the company getting all their dues and stuff like
Mhm.
that. They just gotta. I'm sure. How old is this company? Old, yeah,
Remedy? Oh, yeah,
yeah, yeah. Old. Okay,
20,
yeah,
at least 20 years, 20, 25 years, I want to say.
okay. And is Control like AAA status? Double A?
Yeah, no, yeah, I think it's AAA.
AAA.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
okay.
mean, that Max Payne 2 was,
Oh, God, it was
jeez,
so good.
2002 probably. I
Yes.
can't
I think
remember.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
somewhere around there. Somewhere around there. Yeah.
Okay, I thought that was Rockstar. So how does that work?
Rockstar published it. Rockstar
Yeah.
Oh,
published it,
gotcha.
but
Oh,
Remedy
so
was the developer.
Remedy has been moving around, and
Right.
so now who owns Remedy now? Like Xbox, like Microsoft?
No, no one
No,
owns.
Oh,
no,
okay, okay.
no. There was rumors that PlayStation was going to acquire them, and all that
Oh,
was going around during like the Control development period or release period, and
Mhm.
okay,
I
okay,
think they're
Mhm.
on
okay.
their own. But I mean,
Mhm.
Xbox has marketing with Crossfire X, like Full
Yes.
Tilt. There's like a timed exclusivity deal going on there.
Okay, so they got deals. They're wheeling and dealing.
Yeah, they're
That's
wheeling
cool.
and dealing because
That's
PlayStation
cool.
got exclusive deals on the expansions for Control that didn't go to Xbox for a
Oh,
while,
really?
or maybe now they have.
Yeah, now they have on the,
Yeah.
So
with the
they're just
Ultimate
like,
Edition, they have.
whoever will give us money will do, and then if fans want to buy our Ultimate Edition later, they can do that at full price as well.
Yeah.
Wow, cool. I guess.
That's
I
the-
mean,
that's the
that's
way it
how I
works
would
now,
do
man.
it, right? You know?
That's the way it works now, man.
Exactly.
Who's gonna pay?
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, so
That kind of puts us into that Final Fantasy 16 that came out a couple days ago. That take where Square Enix says we don't have the resources to build an Xbox version, which is
Oh, yeah, I heard about
absolutely
that.
translated to the resources being extra money from Microsoft because Sony
Of
stepped
course.
up and gave us extra money. I don't think there's any other way to translate that. And I've been trying to tell people have been arguing with me about trying to tell them Final Fantasy VII Remake's not coming to Xbox.
You don't think so? You really don't think so? Wow.
Yeah, in April, that exclusivity like moniker is supposed to
Right, I know what you're
supposed to
talking about,
expire.
Colt.
I fully expect that to just come and go without a whisper, and that game will remain on PlayStation.
Damn,
Dude, but the thing
because
is,
there's talks about 2 already. There's
well,
talks
no,
about
because
2 already.
the reason why why I do think it's going to come at some point because they made it a point to say console exclusive, right? For 1 year, and at some point, people they have to upgrade that game for the PS5. Whether it's going to be a re-release or I think if they do that, people will go ape shit. But whether it's maybe
they'll probably just patch it. I think.
Right. But I mean,
That's their MO.
if they're gonna do that, if they're gonna patch it even after 1 year, I mean, I don't know, man. Like they'd be stupid to leave that money on the table, though.
We don't know if PlayStation gave them extra money to keep it there because Final Fantasy 16 has no. There's no indication that Final Fantasy 16 is going to eventually come to Xbox. They've kind of drew a line in the sand with that one.
Really?
And then the Project Athea, which I that's my pronunciation of it, is a full PlayStation exclusive as far as we know. And Final Fantasy 7, those 1-year time exclusives, it's in the legalese not to say anything about going to the other platform until it's time. So like with Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, it was like 2 months before the 1 year it was up where we're like hearing rumblings that there was a green box version of Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. And then like a month before release date, it started popping up on pre-orders. So I am expecting Final Fantasy VII Remake not to get that pass onto Xbox.
That is very, very interesting
Square
to hear.
Enix.
Wow.
Yeah, that is.
No, because
I see it.
I am one of those people who definitely would think that, but I mean, you make sense. But
when
holy
it's
shit,
not like
man.
Square Enix is, we have to like keep our perspective in the right direction. It's not like Square Enix is like, well, we like PlayStation the best and we want to give them preferential treatment. It's the other way around. PlayStation is like, we like Square Enix. We want special treatment from them. So here's extra money. And we don't know how these deals go down, but it could be as simple as, you'll probably sell 3 million copies on the Xbox One. We'll give you this amount, which covers you to say you will only sell it on the PlayStation and PC.
Sure. See, the reason why I thought that it could possibly happen is just because of the Final Fantasy games that came to Game Pass.
I know.
Like
Yeah,
Final
I'm right
Fantasy
there with you, Mo.
15 and 7. So that's why I'm like, okay, so there's definitely a door there, right? There's definitely a
I think there's almost more Final Fantasy games playable on Xbox modern consoles than there is on PlayStation. I think PlayStation has a bunch of different versions of Final Fantasy, but when I looked at that 2019 listing of XO when they said all the games that were coming to Game Pass and finally coming to Xbox, like it was almost every single Final Fantasy variation that has ever been out. And I'm like, because of Back and Pat and because of that deal they struck on Game Pass, it's like there might be the same amount of Final Fantasy games on PlayStation currently as there are on Xbox currently. I haven't looked into that, but that's my
No, I think you're right. In terms of playable now, on a single console, I think I think you're right. I think there are. I think that does maybe fall heavier on the Xbox side, um, for sure. But yeah, dude, I don't know how this conversation ended up shifting to Final Fantasy. I
That
loved
was
it.
my fault.
I loved it. No, man, this is what it's all about, baby. I love it.
It is.
This is what we do. No, man, no, hell no. This is great. This is awesome. Um, but yeah, Remedy, we're happy. Thumbs up, baby.
Yeah,
Keep it
good for
going.
them, for
Oh
sure.
yeah. Okay, so this is all right. This is one of my favorite topics of the week because I don't know how this is going to happen and what kind of sorcery they're doing at 4A Games, but Metro Exodus. So if just a disclaimer, if anybody's ever played the Metro games, they are visually stunning, and if you haven't played any of them, I really, really advise you to. If my opinion means anything, because they're just such incredible shooters. There's a lot, I mean, there's between the atmosphere and the story and the shooting and just the amazing visuals. They're known. Like, I mean, there were benchmarks. Whenever there was a new graphics card that was released, because I used to be a big PC gamer. Anytime there was a graphics card, a new GPU that was out, one of the main benchmarks was always the Metro games. Always, it was always one of the ones that they used. So now, obviously, Exodus, which came out a couple years ago, apparently 4A announced that Metro Exodus is going to receive a free upgrade for the new gen consoles and obviously for PC as well. There's an enhanced edition. Now, why I brought this up is because Metro Exodus on the new gen consoles, specifically the Series X and the PS5, they said that it's going to run at 4K and 60 frames per second. Now, I had to read that. A few times because this game, even in the state that it was in, and honestly, I bought it at launch, and that's the only one that I haven't played yet. And when I read this, it was one of the few times in my life that I was so happy to wait to play something, because I'm like, wow, I'm actually going to play it now the definitive way that it's meant to be played. But the crazy thing is, I don't know how they're going to do this. I don't know what kind of sorcery or
I do.
and that's why I want to ask you about it, Colt, because it's 4K 60 with ray trace global illumination, and
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
it's just insane. I mean, and I'd love to pick your brain on this, man. Because I how?
Okay, so I don't remember the numbers exactly, but
Mm-hmm.
I think Metro Exodus on the Xbox One X runs at native 4K 30.
Okay.
If not, it might be slightly below native 4K at like a 1900 something p. I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember the numbers, but we've always referred to it as a native 4K title.
Sure.
So the GPU is almost half the power of the Series X
Mm-hmm.
on the One X, and the CPU is
Potato.
like almost 3 times slower.
Yeah.
It's over 2 times slower than the Series X, the One X, okay? The 2017 box. So what you're looking at is you can retain 4K no problem because the GPU is 2 times more powerful. And then it has hardware DirectX ray tracing cores on the GPU chip. So
Mhm.
it can do ray tracing. And then the processor is over 2 times faster. So you can get up to 60 frames. And I don't think they're using any of the advanced RDNA features yet. We haven't even
Mhm.
seen that in Xbox yet.
Yeah.
But the raw power alone with DirectX ray tracing means what you're probably getting on Metro on Series X is a dynamically scaled 4K at 60 with ray tracing, which is going to look phenomenal. And what you'll probably get on the PS5 is 1 to 2 million pixels less out of like 7 million, which makes up
Mhm.
about 7 million pixels makes up native 4K. So the PS5 will probably be about a million pixels less with all the same bells and whistles running at 60. And the Series S, the little white box, will
Mhm.
run it at HD at 60 with ray tracing, which is phenomenal. That game looks awesome, and playing at 30
But
is. And I played through all the DLC
so
and everything.
so here's the thing. So I'm looking at from Digital Foundry's analysis when the game was first released. On the Xbox One X, you were right. It's native 4K, but dude, it maintained 4K 100% of the time, which means it ran natively the
That's
entire
awesome.
experience. So my guess would be if it ran natively on the One X, then it's definitely going to stay native on the Series X. If you're able to push it natively at despite the fact that it's 30 frames, if you're able to push it natively at 4K 100% of the time on the One X, then I would like to assume that it's also going to be the same on the Series X.
Yeah, just remember that ray tracing is super taxing. So
that's the thing. Yeah,
4A just leans on let's make the resolution dynamically scale down. From 2160p down to 1800p or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you want to keep that 60. It's going to be phenomenal, and I'm going to replay through that game or one of the DLC packs again.
Yeah,
the
man.
Sam Story one was really good.
I can't wait to dive into this. That's the third one. Jordan, have you played any of the Metro games?
I have, man. I've played all of them.
My man.
I absolutely loved Exodus. I thought it was such a cool way to kind of mix up the formula with this kind of a semi-open world, because you have all these individual maps that are massive, and you spend several hours on each of these maps doing side missions and a main mission.
Mm-hmm.
And just the world design and everything was just incredible. And yes, 30 frames was pretty brutal,
Mm-hmm.
but I powered through it. Hearing about this, I'm seriously considering going back and just basically getting all the expansions too, because I haven't touched any of those, so I don't know what those are like
good.
at all.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, Cole. But yeah, that's kind of my take on it. I mean, it's impressive that we're gonna get the full package, the 4K and the ray tracing and 60 frames all together.
I don't know how they're gonna do it, man. It's gonna be some incredible sorcery, but if it's dynamically like Colt's saying, then shit, yeah, whatever. It's still, the thing about it is the games are so visually stunning that even dynamically it doesn't matter. We talk about dynamic and whatever, and people look at it, to feed the whole console warring and whatever. But realistically speaking, when you're playing the game on your TV, you don't know when you have no idea when the resolution shifts. All right, like you really don't. To your naked eye, you will have no clue when that resolution shifts. So stop talking out of your asses. Like
it always happens when you blow something up and smoke flies.
Yeah,
man. You're like, oh man, that was so cool, and the resolution just dumped on you and came back to normal, and you had no idea.
No clue.
Yeah,
no clue at all. That's what's amazing about it, and that's what's so ironic about everybody arguing about it. It's just like, man, you have no idea. It doesn't change your experience whatsoever. You just think that it does because of whatever the hell you're arguing about. It's hilarious, man. I swear to God. Mike, did you play any of the Metro games?
No, this is a game that I've kind of
killing me, Smalls.
I know.
Every week you tell me no, I'm gonna tell you you're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah, these are one of those games where it's like Wolfenstein to me, where it's like not a first-person shooter I would go out of my way to play.
Yes,
but it's because it's unique in its own right. I'm kind of aware of what's going on. Next gen enhancements, I don't have too much to say about it, but good for that. I bet that ray tracing is looking slick, and I bet it's scary and it looks good.
The cool thing about the Metro games is there's strategy involved, because you have to ration your supplies, right? Especially your bullets. So you can't just pick up bullets like with Wolfenstein or Doom or whatever. They're not just readily available, and not to the point where like, oh my God, But at the same time, like, it really keeps you on your toes. Like, you're just like, okay, what the hell am I going to use over here so I can keep my bullets? Like, they're basically just more sparse. It
also has a really satisfying feedback, like when you loot and grab things by pushing X or square to loot like containers, and the sound it makes, and when you hold, I can't remember the button, I think you hold X or hold Y, and he'll screw on the filter on his face. And the sound it makes, and it rumble in your controller. Like, the game just has a good feel, but at 30 FPS, it's like a flip book. It's like somebody's got the game on a flip book in front of you.
Very true.
And I powered through
stop motion
all through the content. I played through 2 of the DLCs, because it's really great. And this 60 frames upgrade is gonna be so nice.
Game changer,
It's gonna,
man.
yeah.
Damn,
Game
it's like
No,
it's like
absolutely.
some of these upgrades. It's like actually this game that was made like 3 years ago. This is how it was supposed to be experienced,
Yeah.
And it almost calls for like maybe the God of War, where it's like
Yes.
it's that new of an experience,
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
and I think if you can do that in a patch for a game, holy jeez, man! Because I love replaying games, man. I really do. So to me, all these like I feel like I have even more new games to look forward to when I get these next gen consoles because I don't have one yet. So
Yeah, dude. Look, we were just talking about God of War and how it's like one of the games that there are games that just you absolutely have to bring
right,
that
exactly.
next level heat with it, right? Because it's a damn shame if you keep a game like that stuck, in the past. And this is definitely one of them. And I'm so happy that they're doing that at least with this, and yeah, dude, it'll give more of an incentive for people who did not play it last gen to actually dive
Yes,
into it now.
exactly,
So
exactly.
I think I think that's going to be something awesome, man. I can't wait for that. Definitely going to be a new experience for me. All right, this is really just accessory talk. And I wanted to get into this because Xbox made a headset, the Xbox wireless headset, to the delight of many people. It is not going to use an audio dongle. It's going to collect. It's going to connect straight to the Xbox itself,
Yes.
and it's going to support Dolby. Dolby Atmos, and all the other cool stuff. That's on that the Xbox Series X sound card supports. The only thing that some people were concerned about was, previously the audio codec in the consoles and the Xbox consoles, it caused some disconnects with with a lot of actually the headsets that connected straight to the console without a dongle, which is why a lot of people now they like the dongle, right? But
Yeah.
one can assume that, considering the fact that this is made by Xbox and they know like what's at stake, at least not what's at stake, but they know like it's a premium, it's a quality product that they are pushing out and they are making for their quality machine at least. And the great thing about it is, obviously, I mean, if you watch videos and whatever and unboxings, this comes out next month, by the way. It's retailing for $99. And so far, the feedback, at least from the unboxings, say that it sounds great. It's pretty comfortable. It's pretty easy to use. And even for a degenerate like me, I'm actually going to try it because I can never have enough headsets. I just got the Odyssey Penrose X for my Series X, and the thing is without sounding like a douchebag, you have to. I look at $99 headsets as just like, the way I look at them is how much quality can you stuff into that much value, right? Because I ended up, and I have the Penrose. I have the Penrose for the PS5, and I have the Penrose X for the Series X. And the the when the PS5 came out, I bought the Pulse 3D audio headset, right? It's good for what it does in terms of giving you that Tempest audio, the experience, but it's lacking, right? Like, I mean, the headset itself is lacking, and then you have to be practical because it's $99. You know what I mean? So you don't feel like you're holding something that's sturdy and solid, that you would with, like, if you paid for a $300 headset, for instance. So that's really my only thing. I still pre-ordered one. I still want to try it. I am expecting great things from it. But Colt, where you at on this? What did you hear at least on the headset itself? Is it something that I should be excited about, or should I just stick with my Penrose X and cancel my pre-order? Man, talk to me, bro. Take off your Xbox glasses and talk to me for a
Dude,
second.
I am terrible. I'm so terrible that you asked me this. When this was announced, I'm like, oh, cool. I guess the one they did at the beginning of the Xbox One was horrible. I had it
Yeah.
like a week and I returned it.
Yes.
It had
Yes.
horrible audio
Yeah.
quality and it
Yes.
wasn't comfortable.
Yes.
And people are like, oh, and then it started selling out. I'm like, this thing in me is like, I have to have it.
Yeah. Right.
So
It's so nice.
yeah, so this morning I pre-ordered it, and I have two sets of Rigs 800 wireless, and they have a USB dongle. So I use
Mhm.
one for my PC. I'm using one now while I'm doing the podcast with you guys, and then I have one that's connected to my Series X. So they're great headsets. They're light, comfortable, everything works great. And I'm like, do I
Yes.
need another one? And I'm like, and pre-order.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
baby.
So I'm hearing
Yeah.
I'm hearing good things that they sound great, and I'm really picky about sound quality in headphones. So my plan is if they don't sound up, if they don't sound great and they don't sound like punchy, I might send them back. But
Yeah.
I'm hearing good things, so I'm sure I'm going to end up keeping them. And why
Well,
do I need another set? But there you
I
go.
don't know. Look, man, the headsets are. I don't want to get poetic, but I think audio and video games is very, very underappreciated. I'm a
Oh
big,
yeah.
I'm a big headset whore. I'm a audio whore. I think, like, I mean, when I put those headsets on, and I do spend more on headsets because I just like to spoil myself when it comes to audio, and I think it really gives you that. It really gives you that extra immersion, that you wouldn't have. I mean, to me at least, with headsets, having a headset on and you kind of like just isolate yourself from the world. I'm more immersed in the game than if I have a surround sound
Oh
speaker
yeah, I
system
can
around me.
hear all the nuances. I can hear all the
Yes,
dialogue. I'm not missing anything.
yes,
Um,
exactly.
I want to say during the Xbox One era, the first 4 years, I went through like 4 headsets. I bought like every different type,
Wow.
Mm-hmm,
and they broke on me. A wire broke,
mm-hmm,
or they just stopped working, or they, something went horrible. I threw so many in the garbage. I think
mm-hmm.
I threw away 3 or 4 headsets, and they're not cheap.
Right,
And
right.
I finally bought this Platonics, which is the brand I use now. But I bought the Platonics over the ear ones that have a little cable that runs the bottom of your controller.
Mm-hmm.
And I could use them on my PlayStation or my PS4 or my Xbox One. And those are really great. Now I have the wireless one. So finally, I feel like the headsets are finally becoming durable and decent. And so I
Mm-hmm.
have faith in this one. And I've
Mm-hmm.
said enough. I'll let you guys cover that.
No, no, man, no, no, hell no. You can never say enough about the. Again, I'm with you. When it comes to headsets, like multiple generations of A50s, and now like the Odyssey.
Mhm.
As soon as Odyssey announced those Penrose, and then they started getting, with their audio lingo, planar magnetic drivers and whatever. I'm like, I'm sold. I'm sold. I don't care. I'll be the guinea pig. So yeah, you can never have enough of them. Jordan, are you an audio horror man?
Yeah, I'm gonna class it up and say I'm an audiophile. But no, yeah. Just to kind of run through my headset history, it's funny. For the longest time, this was maybe on my 360. I didn't play with a headset, and my buddies that were always playing all these shooters are like, "What are you doing? Just using that stupid default headset?" So bought a Turtle Beach, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this is a
Yeah.
world of difference now." So
Mhm.
yeah, since then I've been playing with a headset. The most expensive headset that I ever owned was an Astro A40,
Yes.
and that was a gift. And I was like, "How much was this?" Holy shit! So I'm never going to buy one of these on my own. Um, but 3 years ago, I jumped on the Lucid Sound because they had their Lucid Sound LS35X
Incredible.
on Black Friday for like
Incredible
40%
headsets.
off. And yes, dude, the build quality is fantastic. No dongle, it just connects natively to the Xbox.
Mhm.
So that's like the biggest appeal that I see right now
Mhm.
with this new Xbox headset.
Mhm.
And every now and then I do use a Rig 800 as well.
Mhm.
But no, I think it's cool. I'm my biggest question is what's the build quality going to be like?
Mhm.
How durable is it? Because my Lucid Sounds, they have like a steel,
Yes.
there's a metal
Yes.
bar in
Yeah.
the headband. It's
Mhm.
very hard to
Of
break
course.
this. But I like that it has the Windows Sonic, Dolby Atmos, DTS, all that stuff there too. So we'll see. Yeah, the 99 price tag is very very enticing. I will probably end up. Yeah, I'm gonna get one. I just want to wait till the reviews come in and I start to hear what you guys think of it.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely, man. I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, I just hope.
Yeah.
Usually with the lower quality, well, not lower quality, but with the cheaper headsets, cheaper by price. The one thing is, like I think Colt was saying earlier about the punch. Like that punch that
Hmm.
you want, right? Like that.
Mhm.
Yep.
Maybe not necessarily just heavy bass. Heavy bass is too obnoxious, but you want it to
Yeah,
be
I got
punchy. And that's the one thing that was lacking, at least with the 3D audio, with the Pulse 3D for the PS5,
Pulse.
which I ended up returning because I
Oh,
just
that's too bad.
yeah,
I
I know.
used to have the Turtle Beach headset during the 360 era.
Yeah.
Had it like
Yeah.
a 70-foot cable that ran to the back.
Yes,
Yeah,
man.
man.
And it
So
was
obnoxious.
all just wound and twisted up from I would carefully
Yes.
coil it around the headset and set it aside. And then all the times of doing that, like that thing got so knotted up. I loved it so much that when I got the Xbox
Yep.
One in 2014, I sent remember that little thing you stuck in the bottom of your Xbox One controller at launch? That that adapter. It was like
Yeah.
Chat adapter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the
Yes.
rectangular thing.
Yes.
He said he did something. He bought like a headphone adapter, and I sent him that thing, and he wired it, like jury rigged it, and then mailed it
Hmm.
back to me. I paid him like $10, and then I was able to plug my Turtle Beach headset from my 360 into my Xbox One. So I did that for several
Wow.
months, and because those Turtle Beaches had a nice, bright and boomy, like great
Yeah.
sound, like
Yes.
came alive. And then that kind of started breaking on me and getting the scratchy and stuff. So that's when I went to the Xbox One official headset. And I'm like, oh, this is horrible.
Man.
What is this?
Man, you just took me back. My first surround sound headset was the Triton AX Pro. It had like a 30-foot cable, and then it had this adapter, this remote with it. Obviously, it was connected by a wire on both sides, and the little remote had the equalizer settings on it, right? And at the time, I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, you're talking about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Over 10 years ago. Shit, what am I talking about? Yeah, well, like when the 360, like maybe a year or two after the 360 came out. And I remember like going on YouTube and I'm like, what do I do with this? It's changing different colors. How do I get the best sound out of it? And then, man, and I remember people were like, what are you doing? Why are you using a headset? You're crazy, blah, blah, blah. And it's just unbelievable to see how headsets now have become the standard. I mean, at least
Oh,
like
yeah.
with couch gamers. And I think that's just incredible. Mike, I know you just got a headset a few months ago. So where are you at on the audio stuff? Are you
Well,
thinking about this headset?
So I've never thought about it until you guys started talking about it, and I was just like, oh yeah, headsets. So I was like, holy shit, hang on, I am a audio whore because like I have hearing problems, man. Like, so I need stuff loud. I want it loud. I need it loud. I want it to. My experience with headsets is I bought a really expensive one back in 2016, and it's lasted since. And I was like, that gets my money's worth of it. It's like an optical wireless Afterglow. I have no idea if that's a good brand. I don't know, but the audio is wonderful in them, and they're beat up and they've lasted long. Kevin gave me those stealths, and I'm like, okay, these are nice. I like they do what I've done. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that I've never experienced shitty audio.
That's great,
Like
man.
when it comes
Okay.
from at least the PS4 and like beyond in areas, you know what I mean? Even when it comes to TV, it's like you don't got a sound bar. It's like you better have that Betty up to like 80 or something like that.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I got to hear it because that does, like you said, it's that immersive, it changes the game. So what I do like about this is that the $100 price tag is good. They don't look like they're comfortable, to be quite honest. I like the idea of I have the Xbox and I have the Xbox headset. I have the PlayStation and I have the PlayStation headset to go with it. Like I like that look. I like the style. I like the matching, I guess I'm trying to say. But every single one of those, whether it's PlayStation or Xbox, everybody says it's like, or at least like close people that I talk to, they always are like, yeah, it's like an okay $100 to spend. Like they're okay, but they're not okay. If you're going to spend money on a headset, you might as well like get those outside brands or whatever. That's really gonna, affect what you hear. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I bet, I don't know, like just watching the trailer, I get it's all flashy and stuff, but just looking at it, like what speakers are in there, how is that flowing? I get it, even if it's audio 3D, but is all of that sounding like full? I guess, like you said, Colt, like that punch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. They do look flimsy in ways. You know what I mean? So, Yeah, and I feel like it just gives off that heavy vibe. Like, look at that mic. I don't know. I feel like that could break easily with a lot, because that's another thing too. It's like I bet they would be good if that individual like takes care of their tech and keeps, but if it's just a person who, like a kid, like a young kid who buys, oh, my mom got the Xbox with the Xbox headset, and I just like take my headset on and off and like throw it on my bed or on the floor, my
You do
friends.
not get a young kid
You know what
a
I'm saying?
$100 headset, bro.
Yeah.
But that's what they're gonna. Yeah, exactly. So that's why they get the $100 headset. And
Right.
I mean, even if it doesn't last with that, like my Afterglow player, dude, have like fallen off of heights onto wooden floors, and like there's like a thing that jingles in it if you shake it, but it still like works. The lights don't work, but everything else is like gold on it. So it's just like, yeah, bro, you know.
Oh,
And I like.
the
Yeah, the
durability on the
durability, yeah.
Afterglows knows no bounds, baby.
Yeah, and I don't think these Xbox headsets have that durability, and I doubt the PlayStations do too. The
Yeah, no,
PlayStation ones, because that's what I thought about the fours. I was like, dude, they look slick as hell, and wow. But then I remember picking them up of friends and like putting them on, and I was like trying to act impressed because they were like, look at my PlayStation headphones. It was some
Yeah.
girl. It was some girl. So I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, whatever.
It was some girl, so whoa. I also bought the PlayStation Gold wireless headsets. Do you remember those?
Yeah. Yes, of course.
And I was using
Yes,
them to
that's what I was talking
podcast when
about,
I
yeah.
first got in this community. And Dealer Gaming was like, get rid of those, man. It sounds awful, because the mic was an ambient mic or an ambient mic. It was
Yes.
somewhere on one of the ears.
Yes,
Nothing
on the
came
left
down
ear.
by your mouth. He's like,
On the
"Thing
left ear,
sounds
yeah.
like trash."
Yeah.
And at that point, I'm like, well, I don't need an extra headset just for the PlayStation. And I
Sure.
realized I got a headset that would plug into both. But man, it's sad. You guys make me think about how many times I had those headsets, and I've got a couple shoved in the family computer desk. It's like old remnants, because I had to have something for PC, I had something for Xbox, then I had to have something for PlayStation. Oh gosh,
I know.
nuts.
No,
It makes sense. It makes sense, though. I mean,
well, the thing is some people do, you know, people like myself, really, like I have headsets for each one, right? I know some people like to share, which is really the practical thing to do. But then when you're a degenerate, it kind of, you kind of like change it up a little bit. So, uh, I do like to separate them. And really for me, I don't know, man. It's just really, I think it's like a psychological thing, where I'm just like, no, this is for this and this is for this.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to mix them up. I don't want to
I don't want to
change up anything. Yeah, I don't want to switch.
Well,
So.
each thing is its own experience, what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
Like,
And really,
yeah.
but the best thing about these, the entry level headsets, like the Pulse 3D and then this one right now, is their
Yeah.
entry level, right? Because
Right.
Sony, for instance, they spent a lot of money with their Tempest audio engine, so they wanted a way for people to experience them and like an entry, So hey, here's $99. This takes advantage, and realistically, you don't need them, right? Because if you have anything, as long as they're able to receive that audio, what the PlayStation is sending out, you can pretty much get the audio, the 3D audio with your headsets. Depending on the headset, obviously. If you just have like a 2-channel headset, I don't know how well that's going to work. Colt, I don't know, like that's not possible, right?
I have no idea how.
Yeah, I don't know, but the cool thing is people are really, the look, man, $99. You're talking about wireless, Bluetooth mixing, mic monitoring, retractable mic with noise canceling, and they're calling it best in class audio. So who knows? We'll see. I think I'm staying cautiously optimistic on these. Okay, to touch on the next subject, and Mike, the only reason I'm bringing this up is because of your love for Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah, I
So
figured.
they finally announced that they announced last year that this game was going to get a free patch for the next the current gen. Now we keep saying next gen, but apparently it's going to arrive. When did they say?
March 18th.
March 18th. There you go. So the Series X and the PS5 enhancements are going to come on March, and apparently the frame rates are going to be higher. There's going to be higher resolution. Really, the quote next gen experience is what
Yep.
the game has been missing. I don't know if this itself is going to. I know they added Hawkeye and whatever, and I don't want to bore you guys if you haven't played it.
He looks a little goofy, by the way, in my
Who
opinion.
Hawkeye?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't
He looks a
know,
little Saturday morning cartoon.
Mike. I'll wait for your take on that one too, man, because I know how
you're
heavily
good.
invested into the game you are.
I
But
am, yeah.
I don't know if this itself. Look, me personally, because I bought the game at launch and I put it down after the intro because I just wanted more out of it in terms of the game is great. The game looks great on last gen, but for me, I'm like, okay, now that I know that at least it's coming to the next gen consoles, which are now, I just told myself, I'm like, okay, I can put this down right now and come back to it at another time. Obviously, depending on who you talk to, the loud, annoying people I don't really listen to. I mean, it's better to listen to the actual people who played the campaign and who are more practical. And a lot of people actually do like the campaign. Obviously, like when you're talking about the multiplayer stuff, it initially it was lacking or it was a little shallow or whatever it is, but I know they've been working on the game since its release and they've been adding more stuff to it. And for me, at least just on from the campaign aspect, I will definitely play the game when these enhancements hit. Colt, did you play the game at all? Did you try it out?
Yeah, I've played all the way through the first Iron Man mission when he gets his full suit.
Okay.
And I will never go back to it. I don't.
Oh,
you,
no.
you don't hear me talk about games I don't like, because if you don't like a game, then
you don't have to shit on it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
why do you have to give your opinion other than, I didn't like that game. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go out nauseam about it. Like, I
Mhm.
can't stand Destiny and I can't stand Avengers, and they're both really popular games. So I just keep my mouth shut. They're just not my type of deal. But I played it on the Series X with the regular, just the hardware doing the thing. And
Mhm.
like Hulk smashes everything and the frame rate pretty much stays stable, but the image quality is not that great. So yeah, this game will look good, but I mean, a game has to be
Mhm.
super good, and if it looks really good and if it plays really well, then you've got a real winner right there. But
Mhm.
Avengers isn't that for me, for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, man, that's understandable for sure. Jordan, did you play Avengers? Do you care about Avengers?
I only played the demo. Like I said, I like the idea of it, but it just didn't resonate with me from what I played with the demo. Cool. There's a next gen enhancement coming. I don't know if I'll play it. My buddy was telling me that it was on sale at Costco for like $10 a couple weeks ago. I was like,
Jesus.
I missed that.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
That's where all the new
no.
player
Aside
counts
from
come
that,
in.
I got nothing to say about it.
Yeah. Mike, you have the floor, my man.
All right.
Listen,
All right.
Mike.
So let's start with how they release this information. It's coming with Hawkeye, and they basically recap the story in a cool little trailer with a 2000 voiceover from movie trailers, like in the future. And it was the first 3 minutes of a 9-minute deep dive into a new character. Okay.
Mhm.
And then you get zero visual on the differences. You get nothing like that. What I'm trying to say is that whoever's running their PR program they got it all fucked up. And I want to say this so bad on my channel, but it's like I feel like I'll make people cry and shit. So I'm just gonna keep it right here, and then I'll reiterate in a more cleaner way later on on my own shit. But they got it all fucked up. The live service of this game is like what the drama is going on, or like why the devs aren't doing this one thing. They released a spreadsheet, let's say, of like what Xbox and PS5 are getting and the differences, and it's your basic upgrades, you know what I'm saying, high resolution, all that kind of shit, faster loading times and stuff, but they didn't show it. And it's like, I mean, why do I got to search the internet to like see a difference on what it's doing or whatever? They're not sending that stuff out. Like, Cole, I see where you're saying where Hawkeye looks like a Saturday morning cartoon. There's like, this game right now is not in a good state right now. Like, maybe before Hawkeye comes out, they release a patch or whatever. But and like, if I were to be honest with you guys, if you have any interest in playing this, wait at least until like Black Panther comes out or something like that, man. because it's one of those things where it's like, if you're looking for a Marvel story, that'll be like a good game to play, where it's like, okay, I'm doing the campaign of the normal mode and then this expansion and then Hawkeye's expansion and then Black Panther's expansion. Oh, that's a good Marvel game or whatever. Like, if you're trying to play it like I am, where you're like trying to grind for certain gear, or you're trying to do cool stuff with your friends that's difficult or like epic or something like that, like that's just not where the game's at right now. You know what I mean? And this falls under Square Enix. So Colt, what you were saying about Square Enix earlier today was really interesting. And it does seem like they are kind of like, they're the publishers. Crystal Dynamics are the developers. You know what I mean? So it's like Square Enix does seem like kind of an asshole. Like, they're just like, I don't know. There's zero word on it. Like, basically, if you're a YouTuber doing Avengers stuff, it's like you're the one running the show, basically. And it's like everybody was disappointed about this Hawkeye thing, and that's basically the narrative for the community right now. One person post recently an Ultron teaser fan made thing, and they're like, "Oh fuck yeah!" And it's just like, what the hell are you guys talking about?
Where's
Y'all
Spider-Man? Where's the exclusive Spider-Man?
Yeah, exactly.
Did that come out yet?
No. And it probably won't come out until summer, midsummer, late summer, beginning of fall.
Is the game still thriving at this point?
That's the thing, man. Like, is it even worth it now? Like, is that going to even bring back any type of hype to it?
Dude,
Mike?
That's what I'm saying. They're not doing what they like. Even Hawkeye is not enough. Like, it's not like anybody who thought Hawkeye was a bigger thing than what it was. To me, that's foolish.
Honestly,
you know what I'm saying? Like, this is a snail's pace video game. Like, if you haven't noticed from now, I'm not talking to you guys you know, directly, but most like to all the fans who are like, where's Doctor Strange? It's like, bro, have you ever played a fucking video game? Do you have a clue on what it takes to make, I don't know, a storyboard for a game? That's months of work, bro.
Or, you got to read the room. Like, if they've got these characters they have planned to build out and bring to the audience, but they have to know that their game, 2 months after it was out, was dying.
Yeah.
And like, what they should have been doing is going, okay, if we have we need to get our new character. And they're like, well, Hawkeye is almost done. Like, what about Doctor Strange? Well, we're going to do him in like 7 characters from now. Like, we need to rearrange this. But I think it's kind of like the Anthem problem. Anthem didn't hit all those notes that satisfied gamers. So increasing the visuals or performance or adding in a couple new things isn't going to fix the game. Like, the game has to be great on its own.
Yeah. Sure.
I feel like I'm trying to take my bias of how I don't like the game out of it. I just don't feel like the overall community likes that game all that much. Maybe they like it more than
something
Anthem.
else. They're like, where's the open world and a bunch of all this other stuff. And it's like one of those games where it's like, you kind of got to understand what they're doing, because they are doing something different. It is that like Destiny or Division in a sense, where it's the same kind of stuff, but it's combat. It's God of War combat instead of shooting, basically.
Yeah, and those games, but Destiny and Division resonated with players like right off the bat. Like, I just didn't enjoy the combat in the game. Do the majority of gamers, I know there's millions and millions playing, do they enjoy the gameplay loop and the loot and the gear?
That's a big problem. Like, so, okay, the initial plan was they're going to release the game in May of like 2020 or something like that. And then it was like every 2 months after that, you're supposed to get a hero. Bam. And then the pandemic hit. And then like everybody's at home, we're working on internet. So it's like, to me, it's obvious, just because I understand video games and like kind of superheroes and Marvel in a way. They kind of don't really have anything to do together. It's just more like a development squad. Like, you got to understand, like, not y'all directly. Sorry. I know I'm like talking like aggressively, because to me, it's just like, it's just one of those things where it's like, it's not really hard to read this table, guys, but the fans are expecting so much, you know what I mean? Regardless of what it has, you know what I mean? But like, in order of like, when are we going to get this? And when is this character going to come out? It's going to be one of those things where it's like, this game is one of those things where it's like, the best it's going to be is, Hawkeye. And that's how it's going to be every single time. Because they're going to be like, oh, Black Panther's coming out. Oh, we got to wait 3 months for that. Oh, boo-hoo, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, bro, like, that's how
Black
it is.
Panther plays just like such and such character. He doesn't really.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And that's what they say about Hawkeye. Oh, he looks like this. And I'm just like,
a big problem, though. And realistically, at least look, my take on it is, Colt, just to kind of go off of, well, really what you both were saying. I think the biggest issue this game had, in my opinion, is people were expecting so much. And
Yeah,
why? Because it's one of the
exactly.
biggest IPs in the world, right? You have one of the biggest IPs in the world, and I think people were just really shattered. I mean, look, I don't want to take away anything from the developers themselves, but Mike, you and I have talked about this before, and I told you from day one, the ideas were great, but it wasn't the right studio for this game. I've
Right.
always told you that. And I
Yeah.
think for me is that's what really soured people on it, is just because we expected so much because it's Avengers, especially after the high people had been on from Infinity War and Endgame, and people were just expecting that kind of experience, and it just wasn't provided,
Yeah.
right?
And
It was very cookie cutter for it being an IP of that magnitude, and I
right.
think that's really what soured people on it, and why I just don't think there's going to be enough to bring them back, even if Spider-Man does come back.
Right,
You know?
exactly. And that's the thing. It's like there are some, I would say, almost legitimate excuses for this game on why it didn't do well. But then again, at the same time, there are some things that if I was not a Marvel fan, and that's what I'm trying to say as well, is like I am biased with this game. Some
Mhm.
fans don't understand that chunk of like, well, what happened with it? Well, like that exactly, Mo, the
Mhm.
developer studio, Square Enix, probably they got their hands in Disney. I don't know what the hell they're doing. Like the single player is solid, I would say, if you're just playing it like with the story, like through your story and that's it, and you're not looking for multiplayer and like, oh, level up my characters and like I feel
Mhm.
like Iron Man or I feel like Thor, like good combat, whatever. But everything else, the PR, the way they did advertisements, the way they're going about, the way they're handling it right now, like
Mhm.
is all wrong.
Mhm.
Fans are like, what how communities do, like they're crazy, they're toxic and shit
Sure,
like that.
sure.
Yeah, and that's like where this game is. So it's like, well, like if a yes or no question, is Hawkeye enough to bring fans back with the next
No.
gen? Even no, it's not.
No.
And it's going to be tough to get people back. Ooh, Black Panther and a raid apparently is supposed to come with Black Panther. And it's like they got all this stuff that it's not ready yet because of network issues, and like I don't know too much all about that, but it's like, but still though, on the back end, the way you deal with the fans, the way you want to like butter us up basically from this point on.
But that's the thing, man. Like,
And
and realistically, I'm sorry, just really quick.
no,
Hawkeye is not the person to
no,
bring out when you're trying to get people pumped up for a next gen enhancement. If you want to tell people, hey, man, this game is going to look better, it's going to play better, it's going to have all these new visual bells and whistles for you guys, like, you need to bring a character that goes along with that to maintain that momentum, right? Or to
yeah.
at least try to keep that momentum, whether it's Spider-Man, whether it's Black Panther, somebody who
Which
would
would be
actually,
logical. And people were saying, "Oh, that could be like a relaunch of the
yeah,
game." You know
fucking
what I mean? And
Hawkeye.
we're like,
Come on, man.
"Yeah." Like us optimists, we're like, "Yeah, man." Like relaunch of the game, bring cloning labs, which is another like raid type of like small raid thing. Like bring
Mhm.
these out. You know what I mean? And then it's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Everybody's thinking like Black Panther will come in June, and I'm like, I don't think so, homie. I just don't, man. Like it's one of those disappointing expectations where it's like, I like this game because it's Marvel, but I'm ready for a rough ride. You know
Sure,
what I mean? And
sure,
that sucks to say, dude, as a Marvel fan.
right.
But you could pick up Spider-Man in its entirety with its DLCs and be like, that's a solid fucking game right there.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I don't need to be wasting my time playing these same fucking levels,
Yeah,
grinding this same gear that sucks and doesn't even work right now.
that's the anthem. So that's what we were. That's what Colt was saying earlier. It has the anthem
Exactly,
problem as
dude.
well.
And it does, man.
So
And these are the type of games. And I really hope that DC game, Suicide Squad, doesn't have that issue either. I hope Gotham Knights doesn't have this issue either. You know what I mean?
mhm.
And that's the thing. I was asked it during one of my streams. I was like, is it too much for us to be asking certain things or whatever? Like, basically expectation. He's like, is it though? Like, are you being selfish by asking these things? I'm like, that's a good question, man. Like, this is 2021.
For
How
this
many types?
IP, for this
Yeah,
IP, no,
exactly.
not
How
for
many
this
types of
IP.
these games have been made? And these types of like deeper questions about,
Sure.
Okay, they made Tomb Raider, so they don't have experience, whatever. Anyways,
Yeah.
I could go on and about it all day, but
Yeah, I know, man. That's why I wanted you to take. I know, dude. We'll
right,
see,
right,
man.
right.
We'll see what happens with this. Um,
I love it though.
yeah, I know, dude. I know. Oh, trust me, we know. We know.
But if I was one of their bosses, last thing, I swear to God, if I was one of their bosses, whoever in Crystal Dynamics, I would be lighting fires under their asses, like from those Zoom calls or whatever. I'd be like, whoever is on PR, like, get it out there, like, hype the fans up, give them a tease of a suit or something. Like, dude,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it
whatever.
doesn't seem like really they've learned their lesson, at least, or at least I don't think so. But
Right,
what the hell do I know?
right, exactly.
All right. Next thing is actually this is pretty cool. So there was always talks about the series consoles before they came out and how they would improve games on a hardware level, that would require as little from the developer's side as possible. And I think we're starting to slowly see that unfold. A couple days ago, or was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. So yesterday, Xbox announced FPS Boost, and they're basically, it's a thing that they did that obviously that takes advantage of the CPU and the GPU and the memory from the new consoles to make the old games look and play better. They said, this is just from their website. They said the backward compatibility team has developed FPS Boost, which employs a variety of new methods for nearly doubling and, in few instances, quadrupling the original frame rate on select titles. Higher, steadier frames make games visually smoother, resulting in more immersive gameplay. And then if we jump over to Digital Foundry, they said that the difference with FPS Boost is, so they were comparing it to, like, let's say the PlayStation 5 side, for instance. They said, we've seen a doubling of performance on older games running on the new wave of consoles already. We've looked at Days Gone, Ghost of Tsushima, The Last Guardian, and God of War on PlayStation 5. While legacy titles with unlocked frame rates can also tap into the extra horsepower of the series consoles and the PS5. So the difference between those, and this, for instance, or what they're basically saying is, if a game has an unlocked frame rate, it can take advantage of the extra horsepower based on the machine that it's being played by, versus automatically, from my understanding, versus the FPS Boost, which is kind of really incredible, because what Microsoft's Xbox compatible, or their compatibility team, is they're adjusting the frame rate caps at the direct 3D level. So they're increasing performance within the system without any changes at all to the original code of the game. So this itself requires absolutely zero effort from the developer's side. They're not going back to the developers and telling them, like, hey man, can you do something over here, to try to, to try to make this game run better. So what Digital Foundry said is, as far as the games are concerned, they're still running at their original frame rates. Okay, and the first set of games that Xbox said were going to take advantage of this were a few of them. There's Super Lucky's Tale, which was already running at 4K 60 on the Xbox One X. Sorry, new Super Lucky's Tale, and now that's bumped up to 4K 120. Right, man, I got to check that out on my CX. I haven't even played that game yet.
It was
so
running at 30 on the 1S too.
That's even at 4K. That's amazing. I know the game is not like visually intense, but still, it's 4K is 4K. So, they said, so there was a new Super Lucky's Tale. They said there's Far Cry 4, Sniper Elite 4, UFC 4, and Watch Dogs 2. So UFC 4 delivers improved frame rate performance up to 60 frames per second, but stays at 1080p. Watch Dogs 2, because, see, for some reason, Watch Dogs 2 was never enhanced for the One X, and I don't know why. So we're basically playing the Xbox One S version, S like Sam. We're playing the One S version, which was capped at 900p, but now you're playing it in 60 frames per second. And just based off of what Digital Foundry said, that itself, it feels so much better to play. But apparently, if you're playing on a 4K TV and you're playing it still in the 900p resolution, it's a little bit jarring, which is a bit unfortunate on the Ubisoft side. I have no idea why they did that. But dude, this is great, right? Especially for somebody like me who loves playing old games on their new consoles. Anybody who knows me knows I have a huge collection of a lot of old games, new games, whatever it is. Every now and then I'll pop in Splinter Cell if I feel like it, and I'll play the entire trilogy again. So which I'm still waiting for any type of improvement there. But Colt, I know you were talking about this, man, and that's something I guess that wasn't touched on completely with your interview with Jason Ronald because they were waiting to unveil it publicly. But what do you think about this?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I was just really perplexed of what games they chose.
Mm-hmm.
But then as I asked Jason, I kind of tried. I understood that they wanted like a wide variety
Mm-hmm.
to start with, like a little cartoon game like Super Lucky's Tale. You've got a first-person open world game like Far Cry 4. You've got a third-person open world game, Watch Dogs 2, and then UFC 4 and Sniper Elite 4, which is really pretty old too.
Yeah, of
But,
course.
but like, I'm like, why didn't you do Far Cry 5? Like that game's not that old.
Exactly.
It's
Yep.
2.5 years old or almost 3 years old. I asked, is this like, can Xbox One X enhanced games be used with this? So I did an interview with Jason this week
Mm-hmm.
and was able to break that news and ask him these questions. And the team is working on a bunch of games that will work with this feature,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're going to roll out 1 or 2 every 2 weeks, like just continually roll them out as they process them. Like they have their teams playing through different levels all over the game and stress testing to make sure it works before they get the buy off from the publishers. Like, are you good with this? We're going to release this, and there you go. Yeah, so it's
That's
pretty cool.
awesome, man. That is really, really cool. What I'm hoping for, at least, is obviously for all the older games, but especially for the games that took advantage of the One X power. The ones that were at least enhanced for the Xbox One X, because on top of the performance boost that we'll be getting, at least there's also a some visual how am I going to say this? At least there's something visually there to also be pleasing to the senses, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So while Watch Dogs 2 is great, again, I think that falls on Ubisoft. I'm not sure why I was just mentioning that, but I hope at least they do take more advantage of that. But Jordan, Xbox backwards
Yeah, man.
enhancements, man. I know you love to play older games as well. You just played Breakdown, and you played Indiana Jones. How does this make you?
Yeah.
What do you think of this? Is this something that you feel like
No,
you'll take advantage of?
Absolutely, and I guess based on the selection of games that they did, if they're not just, it's not just going to be, like I said, old games. They're like, in theory, is that correct, Colt? It's not just going to be.
Yeah, they're looking at what people are interested in seeing that is
Cool.
Sure.
also
Cool.
Nice.
possible to
Sure.
use this.
Gotcha. Well, I'll tell you right now, I want to see Prey 60 frames, please, and thank you.
Yeah, that game needs anything. Most games need to be 60, but especially the
Yeah,
first person
yeah,
games. Yeah.
yeah. But no, I think that's cool. That's something that would entice me to revisit older games that I think would look better. Like, yeah, Prey is the first thing that comes to mind for me. Even like Hellblade would be cool to see in 60 frames.
Oh
The
God.
first Hellblade.
Yeah. If they can, because
Um,
Well,
the
Hellblade is 60 on the One X version and PS4 Pro version run at 60.
oh, Roger
yeah.
that. Okay.
but if they were able, but Hellblade, if you played it in quality mode, Colt, the quality mode wasn't at 4K on the One X, or am I mistaken? Wasn't there a quality 30 FPS mode or
Yes.
4K? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a quality there's a 30
performance.
FPS like dynamic midway between 4K on the
And
One
if they're
X.
yeah, so if they're able to do that on the Series X,
Yeah.
that
I
would
just
be-
wonder if the team's looking at, like, does a game already run at 60? Then we won't mess with it. But like, if I was working on that team, I'd be thinking, what is stuck at 30? Because that's what they're doing. That's the
Exactly.
most important thing that they're doing with this mode is when developers create a game, they lock it, especially in the past 20 years. They
Sure.
lock it at 30
Mhm.
because the console can't do anything more than that. Well, now they have plenty of room. Like Jason said, like the GPU and CPU are sitting there idle waiting for another instruction, and there's plenty of time to render more frames.
Mhm.
So I hope if I was on the team, I was like, let's look at what are really popular games that run at 30 that need to be unlocked to run at 60. Like all of the Far Cry 3, Far Cry 5, New Dawn, Primal should all run at 60.
Absolutely.
Watch Dogs 1 should run at 60. Yeah, just a bunch. There's so many games.
No, I get that.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
me, yeah, that does make sense. About okay, what games are stuck at 30, but my hope, at least, is them for also to just, like we were talking about God of War, for instance, right? The first patch that they did for the PS5 was so okay. So the God of War performance mode, okay, in essence, or at least in theory, was supposed to go up to 60 frames per second on the Pro and on the base PS4, right? But in 1080p. So it never hit that point. On the Pro, it would probably stay like in the high 50s, I'm sorry, low 50s, high 40s, but it never hit 60. The first patch they released for it, for the PS5, was performance mode, which was obviously downscaled in resolution, but it locked at 60. And now, this one, the new patch, is the quality mode, which was the checkerboard 4K, but 60,
Mm.
a solid 60.
Yeah.
My hope, at least, would be, I don't know, maybe that's just asking too much. I'm just saying this as a fan. Like, for instance, like games like Hellblade, for instance. If you have the quality mode that's dynamic 4K or native 4K or whatever it is, that's stuck at 30, if they're able to bring that up to 60 on a hardware level, then at least that would like please somebody like me who wants the best of both worlds from these new consoles, right? Like give me the visual aspect and give me the performance aspect
Yeah.
together, because
Yeah.
rarely do we ever get both of them together. Well, up until now, up until these new consoles, that's why it's been amazing. But yeah, man, Mike, the I know you don't have one. I know you're still in the hunt for a Series X and a PS5, but what do you think about this legacy stuff, man? Are you excited about this? Playing older games and making them
Yes.
play better.
Yes, I am. I very much am. This all I really got to say about this, because I don't really know the details. You know what I'm saying? But from my outside perspective, looking at the Xbox, because I have been on it a lot too recently, just on the S or whatever,
Yeah.
the One S.
Mm-hmm.
It just, whenever you say the Xbox is a machine, like the word machine matches with Xbox to me. You know what I mean? Like, yes, it is a good machine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like its own little booster,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool. And I really like that. You know what I mean?
Their engineering is just unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, I saw that they started working on this in like 2015. Some of me kind of makes me feel like, did they know they fell a little short that generation that soon, and they were like, all right, let's think about the future.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh
Yeah, exactly. And that's like where it's like, yo, man. And it's one of those things, because I've been on the Xbox too lately recently. It's like one of those things where it's like, dude, I really see why fans like jump on one or the other,
Mm-hmm.
because both are equally like just monsters, man. Both are equally like, ooh, wow, look at this experience,
Mm-hmm.
So, and if this little bit adds to it, especially because it's such a backwards compatible machine,
Yes.
it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be playing all my games up to date, up to
Absolutely, man.
performance. So yeah, that's awesome.
I love it, dude. Yeah, that's just amazing, and that's really one of the things that really make it stand out as well. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was before the show started or when the show started, about how each one just offers things for their respective fans and what it is that they're looking for. And for someone like me who is at least lucky to play on both and enjoy both, and I just love it, dude. It's the best of both worlds. You
Yeah.
get what you want without giving a shit. So it's amazing. I love it. I love spoiling myself with video games like we all do. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna get into the Nintendo Direct thing real quick. I'm not gonna go over the whole show. I just want to see what you guys' takes were in terms of what stood out to you. So Nintendo had a 50-minute Direct. That's probably their first one in what I think in 2 years, since 2019. And 50 minutes, 50. So a lot of people were like, "Holy shit, they're gonna come out with some heavy hitters," And then obviously, as we know, theories started flying everywhere. Me, myself, personally, I wanted Metroid Prime trilogy. Right now, 4 is unrealistic. I'm not even looking at 4. I'm a big Metroid fan, so I just wanted a trilogy
Yeah.
remaster. I don't even care if it's the same fucking resolution as the GameCube. Just
I'll
give
take
them to me,
anything.
right? Just give them to me, right? Just give them to me on the Switch so I can play them. And that's really, I wanted Metroid Prime trilogy remaster. I wanted a Wind Waker HD, be brought, and I don't know, man. You know, obviously it's all subjective based on what you like. I mean, Fall Guys is coming. Fall Guys is coming to the Switch. You know, which is okay. That's cool. Outer Wilds, all right. You know, for me, like there's Ninja Gaiden that they're bringing, but they're the Sigma versions. You know, the Ninja Gaiden trilogy, and I didn't care. Jordan, you and I were talking about this yesterday. I don't really like the
Yep.
Sigma versions because I felt like they just weren't as visceral as the original ones that came out on the Xbox. You know, specifically Ninja Gaiden Black and Ninja Gaiden 2 on the 360. They were visceral. They were bloody. You're talking about freaking limbs and heads lopped off, and you didn't get that with Sigma. So, you know, there's Mario Golf, which is cool, I guess. You know, No More Heroes 3, and then the biggest one is obviously Zelda Skyward Sword.
Skyward.
Yeah, Skyward Sword, which didn't do very well for them initially on release. It's kind of like looked at the black sheep of the 3D Zeldas over the past 10 years. And I guess they want to give it new life. Obviously, they're up-resing it and bringing it to the Switch and changing the controls and all that. And then for the final reveal, you know, I don't know, man. I was just so freaking. I looked at it and I'm like, you wait for the final reveal to reveal Splatoon 3? You know, like a 50 minutes that you had people watching and you reveal, and Splatoon 3 is your big and ultimate reveal. I'm not shitting on the franchise or the games themselves. I know they're fun. I know they have their fan base, but come on, man. You know, like you wait for the finale to reveal Splatoon 3 instead of like maybe like a little freaking niblet of something with Metroid, or I don't know, man. You know, again, I'm just speaking as a fan. For me, that just really fell flat at the end, but I don't know, dude. Yeah, I've kind of like said some of the things that at least popped out to me. Cole, are you a Nintendo? Do you play your Switch at all, dude? Do you play Nintendo games?
Nope.
Oh wow, okay.
we have two Switches here. My kids play Animal Crossing. Yeah, I don't.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's honestly fair. What were you gonna say?
I didn't watch the Nintendo Direct. I just heard the response, and I mean, I'll just repeat what my friend said. If PlayStation or Xbox had this showing after an entire year of silence, it would not go over well with the gaming community that speaks up online. I'll tell you that. But
I don't even want to talk about the. You know, there's one thing that you actually tweeted out earlier, and I thought that was very, very. I thought it was good. You know, I thought it was excellent. Actually, you made a good point. You said industry leaders are able to, you know, price point. You were responding to somebody about the prices.
Yeah,
you know?
Somebody posted that the new Zelda game was $80, but that was Canadian.
Canadian, yeah.
So it's still 60. But I actually took that down. I would have left it up because Nintendo's prices don't ever drop.
No, they don't. They don't.
Yeah, and I said that the market leader gets to dictate what price is.
Sure.
And that's why competition is so important with Xbox staying at $60 games for all their first party stuff and offering that opportunity to join Game Pass and pay that way if you want, and Xbox All Access. But Nintendo and PlayStation offer such a great value for so many millions of people. The weird thing when you look at Nintendo, when's the last time they had a huge like AAA blockbuster hit game? Animal Crossing is absolutely massive. Like it's one of the biggest games of the year.
Yeah, but that's not a blockbuster.
Year.
Yeah,
that's not like a blockbuster. Like everybody, I can't say everybody has to play it because so many millions. Millions and millions of people are playing it.
I know, but
like we have this weird standard of what Xbox is expected to showcase because PlayStation will step up and say Sucker Punch is working on a brand new, feudal Japan open world cinematic adventure. And we're like, wow, like that's so cool. And that game's awesome. And then Xbox puts out a smaller game or revamps their franchise they have again. So, but no one looks at Nintendo and says, oh, you're doing your 70-second Kirby game. And the Zelda games always do really well. And everybody loves them. It's a different standard, but it works for Nintendo so well that I never criticize it because people who are on Nintendo, all of them are happy and they're not whining and they're not making fun of other people.
Mhm.
So yeah, they're doing a great job.
No,
So I'll
you're
let them do their direct the way they want people to say it was
yeah,
really
that's true.
underwhelming. I'm like,
It
I'll
works.
bet you that people are really excited, like they're happy with what they're getting.
Sure. No, yeah, that makes sense, man. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, this could be a freaking 5-hour topic, but yeah, there's always been a double standard. I mean, there's always a double standard when it comes to Nintendo versus Xbox and PlayStation. Xbox right now they're maintaining their first party titles at 60. PlayStation increased their first party titles to 70. Most people had a shit fit about that. About like, oh, why is PlayStation going up on their prices? So with their first party titles. But then you have no problem paying $60 for Zelda Skyward Sword, which is over 5 years old. But I mean, and it's just upresed. And then you were bitching about Demon Souls, which is a full-on remake, and it's gorgeous. It's one of the most gorgeous games that have come out, at least for this gen. And they did such a phenomenal job with it. But you were bitching that it was $70, but you're not bitching that an old game is just slightly upresed, and it's still costing at the same market price now that it did when it was released back then. Or shit, if even. I think when it released, it was 50. Now it's 60. I mean, so I get with inflation and whatever, but yeah, man, look, I'm one of those people that always looks at Nintendo with a double standard, but I'm also one of those people, Colt, that's a sucker and I always buy their shit. Granted, I barely ever touch the Switch, but I still buy their stuff, right? Because there's just something about Nintendo. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the cute, colorful stuff that they have or the aura or whatever kind of magic.
Great.
They're just amazing, dude.
Yeah, they're great.
Dude, they're just masters of their craft. Whether it's from a game, whether it's from a game perspective and whether it's from a marketing perspective, they just know. They're at that point where they don't adapt to the market. Right? Imagine right now if the Master Chief Collection was still for $60. Imagine if God of War or Horizon Zero Dawn was still selling for $60. People would go.
Mario Kart 8 for $60 at Christmas.
Breath of the Wild launched on the day the Switch launched, and it's still $60.
When is the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is what it's called? It's still
Yes.
$59.99. Like
when
did that release? Like 2014, 2015? I don't remember.
That release? No. Okay, so that was just basically an enhanced version of the Wii U.
Wii U game. Yeah.
So I think that came out several months after the Switch released.
So 2017.
2017.
Okay.
Yeah, because I remember.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It did come out. It came out in 2017 because my wife and I used to play it when she was pregnant with my daughter. So I know that for sure. It was in 2017. But the thing is that was just, again, that was upres, but it was for the Switch. It sold millions of copies for them. And again, man, they're marketing geniuses, and they know that you're going to buy it. You don't have to, but we don't have to shift. They don't need to shift with the market, and I think that's just incredible that they don't have to adapt to the market. The way, especially like with Xbox and all of the goodwill that they do, and then obviously Sony with the PS Plus games and some of the stuff that they do as well. But
it's so funny when you say that they don't have to shift the market. When you think back of 2012, when the Wii was like almost tanking Nintendo's reputation and their revenue stream. The Wii U, sorry, the Wii U. Yeah, you know what I was talking about. In 2012, when the Wii U was almost tanking their reputation and their revenue stream, everyone was like, what are you doing? This thing is less powerful than the PS4 and less powerful than the Xbox One. The Xbox One is getting absolutely dragged for being less powerful than the PS4. Nintendo turned around and go, we're going to make an even less powerful mobile version because people didn't like the little screen that you could disconnect from the Wii U.
Sure.
And we're going to make that even more mobile with just a little Tegra chip in it. And it went freaking crazy. Like, they do really make their own rules.
They do.
You'll never hear me make fun of Nintendo for like their pulse on the gaming industry, because they just create their own space where people love to come in and their games are just pure joy. But like I'm in the mode where I want the next big thing that's going to wow me. Next thing that looks incredible, feels visceral, feels immersive, and that's not what Nintendo gamers are looking for. They're looking for that bright, vibrant, punchy, exciting, happy, super awesome, fun game that provides a unique fun you can't get anywhere else. And if I'm not that gamer, no big deal. I bought a Switch. We have two of them. We have the regular docking one and the light. Yeah, like whatever. I don't mind giving them that money. My kids enjoy playing the games, and I've
Yeah,
never even
yeah,
really messed with the thing that much. I actually spent more time doing the NES
yeah.
emulation on it. That it comes in
Hmm.
the arcade or
Yeah.
whatever. I
Yeah,
played
that's
like
pretty
Yes.
a
cool.
bunch of those games, and like because
Yes.
that's what got me into gaming growing up.
Yes.
Sure.
So
No, that's pretty cool. It is. Jordan, where you at with the Switch, man? I know you're a Switch fan. What do you think of all
Yeah,
this?
man. I'm
Any- any-
I haven't picked mine up in a while, man. I'm scared to see what my island looks like in Animal Crossing. But yeah, anything that they showed on that direct didn't really resonate with me,
yes.
and that's fine.
Hmm.
But I do like the way they do their presentations because, like I said, you see the actual game. You know, they talk about it. You see what it looks like when you're going to play this game.
Hmm.
So I give them props for that. Um, uh, Colt, what you were saying as far as like the type of experiences that you get on Nintendo versus Sony and PlayStation, Mo and I were just talking about that the other day, and that's the truth, man. It's just a different.
It's a different vibe, man.
They know their
Yeah.
audience. Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
that
different vibe.
energy.
That's the big thing. Uh, Hades is the only thing that really stood out to me, but you know, I've already played the hell out of Hades. I want it to come to Xbox. That's a
Hmm.
great freaking
Hmm.
game. But yeah, everything else was just kind of, eh.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Mike, anything interest you?
Yeah, I mean, sort of. I mean, not interesting, but noteworthy. I was like Ninja Gaiden, all of these, like that controller sucks. I'm not gonna play that game on the Switch. What the hell are they thinking? But then,
Yeah.
like Neo 2 got a Ninja Gaiden Ryu Hayabusa skin, so I was
Mhm.
like, maybe, who makes that game?
Team Ninja.
Yeah, maybe Team Ninja or Tecmo or whoever, you know, they're like testing some waters. So I was like, okay, more Ninja Gaiden, maybe. Like, I know we were expecting it like earlier, but maybe we'll get it later. If that even happens, I don't know. That's just kind of like an optimistic thing. Yeah, the Skyward Sword thing, when I was watching the play, like the preview of it, I was like, dude, that is so cool. That was one of the Zelda games that I didn't get
Mhm.
during that time.
Yeah. Neither did I.
And I really liked it. I literally thought that to myself. I'm like, that's going to be $60. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, it's going to be one of those games to where, and like the Mario games, yes, it's that energy, it's the sounds, it's that stimulation, that whatever that energy is, that visual brightness, that happy time. I like how Colt said, he was like, just Nintendo fans are just not like that. I was like, yep, that is so true.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nothing like, ooh, that's so cool. I'm like you, Mo, definitely like you with the Metroid thing, and like what Colt said, I'm just kind of looking for that next bigger, immersive, action packed, like fun, visceral type of game myself, you know. So unless if Nintendo's going to be doing anything like that, then like, good for them, and I hope people enjoy it, you know, who are like hardcore Nintendo fans. So good
Yeah,
stuff.
man. Yeah, I know.
Nintendo's got ways to go. I literally watched a video the other day of this guy walking through some Mario theme park in Japan or something,
Yes,
and I was
yes.
like, dude, they got it going on with
It's
Mario.
amazing, man. It's just
Mario's an athlete, man. I bet he could whip me one on one in basketball.
yeah, man. He's pretty nimble for being a chubby
Yes.
little bastard. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I don't know why they don't give him more credit. I guess he owns his own fighting game and all
Yeah,
the sports games. He's in the Olympics, so okay.
I'm more of a Luigi person.
Why is he not stacked up against Kratos? Why isn't there ever a comparison? Let's go, people.
Yeah, man.
Mario
They don't want that heat,
sleeping.
man. Mario will
Yeah,
kick his ass.
exactly. They don't want that fireball, son.
Mario will kick his ass. Um, oh man, you know what? And to lead into it really quick. So yesterday, the Fall Guys was announced to be coming to the Switch, and it's using the Azure, the servers powering the cloud infrastructure for the game, which belong to Microsoft. But there was no announcement that it's coming to Xbox, and that really made a lot of people scratch their heads, and people are like, wait a second, so you're using Microsoft's Azure, but the game is not coming. And I mean, including myself, really. I mean, I played Fall Guys. I mean, it's cool. I think it needs a bigger draw. I wanted it to come to more consoles and whatever. And then, well, lo and behold, it gets announced today that it's coming to Xbox on the Series X, the Series S, and the Xbox One. They didn't specify whether like there's going to be any types of enhancements for the new consoles or not. or whatever, and they didn't even talk about whether there's going to be cross platform play or whatnot. But the cool thing is it was announced, and when I read that, I was happy. I was like, okay, it's not coming to Game Pass because obviously they're going to try to see how many sales they can get. I think eventually it might, it might, but my take from this was Nintendo probably just had this thing where they were just like, no, if you're going to announce it, we're going to take it for the day. You can announce it for Xbox tomorrow. Right. I mean, so I don't know. That's just the way I looked at it, because otherwise it would have, even after the direct was over yesterday, they could have just announced it. Devolver just could have said like, hey, by the way, it's coming to Xbox, surprise. But instead it was like a completely separate announcement, which was made today, which I was happy to see it. I guess more. I want more people to play that game. It's something new and it's unique, and now it's going to have a bigger draw. And we'll see. Colt, what did you think of what I just said? Did you think that it was because of Nintendo that it wasn't announced yesterday? Because I know you saw a lot of people saying like, "Wait a second, how the hell? Why does Devolver hate Xbox?" Like that was some things that I read yesterday. I'm like, "Oh, really?"
Oh no, I mean, I wouldn't expect them to say we're coming to Xbox at a Nintendo event. They keep
not at the Nintendo event. I'm saying just after it. Even after it, if it was like announced on Twitter or something.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they make those deals where they talk to PR for Xbox and say, "Hey, we're ready to announce coming to the platform on Xbox, but we're doing the direct thing this day, and then we'll do it the next day." Yeah, that's not a big deal. That's funny that people go into conspiracy theory, but that developer, they didn't take the extra time and money and resources to make an Xbox version, and that game is super popular on the PlayStation, and now it's coming to more places, and it was on Steam, wasn't it?
Yes, it was on Steam.
It was everywhere but Xbox and Switch, and yeah. It's tough because who would think that a game like that would be a runaway hit, and you think back to Lawbreakers where Cliffy B said, we're just going on the PlayStation and Steam right now. We don't want the risk of putting the extra money in case the game doesn't take off, and then it didn't take off. But Fall Guys like really like surprise those guys, right? What we've got one of the biggest games of the year right now.
It was, man.
I wish we were on Xbox and Switch, and apparently that takes a lot longer we think it would. It's not file save as Xbox. So
right. Are you gonna play it? Are you gonna try it?
I played it on PlayStation a couple rounds, and I will play it more if I can get my friends to get on there, because apparently when you're playing with friends, you can have some pretty good laughs. We played a game that always reminds me of Humans Fall Flat.
Yeah.
Wacky game on Game Pass a couple years ago. Like my friends and I played that together, and we laughed. So we were playing with Randall Thor and Dealer and Zocker87, and I couldn't even keep my eyes open. I was laughing so hard. We were trolling Rand. We would stick our hands to him and grab him and put him in a headlock and pull him off of a cliff and make him respawn. And we were just having like a jump up on his back and hang on to him so he couldn't move. And he's like, "Leave me alone." We were trying to get through the obstacle course. Like games like that can be super fun. It's like funny that
they can.
10 minutes ago I just told you I don't care for games on Nintendo, but like Humans Fall Flat, so
yeah, I know that.
It's just really, I'm laser focused on this certain type of game, and sometimes I get talked into playing something else, and I'm like, oh dang, that's fun. Like Sackboy Adventure is my favorite game on the PlayStation 5. I love it like 2 times more than Spider-Man Miles Morales. And Spider-Man 2018 was my favorite game on the PlayStation over God of War. But I'm playing Miles Morales. I'm like, this looks so great. But then I play
more of the same.
I'm having smiles and smiles.
Yeah, so, Sackboy is excellent, dude. It's so awesome. Good. It's so good. It is. You're right, though, man. It's always those little games.
Sorry.
Really?
Yeah,
no shit. I didn't know that. Wow.
Made the entire campaign for Crackdown 3, and the Crackdown 3 campaign I thought was great. It didn't do anything brand new, but I really enjoyed the look and feel of the whole entire thing. But yeah, Sumo Digital, same team. They made Sonic All-Stars Transform Racing. They made a couple other games, but they're really, really talented. And they did what they could with Crackdown, and when Xbox was not putting very much time, care, and attention into their first party games, which was most of the Xbox One generation. So Yeah,
Sure.
same team.
No,
They're
I
very
got you.
good.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah, Jordan. You know what, man? I'm at least glad because now you have two different ways of playing this game, Fall Guys. Are you gonna try it out with us, man? I know I'm
No,
probably gonna sucker you into buying it on the Xbox for sure. I know.
oh no, I'm totally gonna buy it. I was at my buddy's apartment a couple months ago, and he had a PlayStation. I was like, dude, I've been dying to play this, man. Let's just do this. And yeah, it's a fun little game, and kind of like what Colt was saying. Yeah, you find these little niche experiences that just grab hold of you, and you're like, okay, I can see the appeal for this, and it's gonna be a time sink for a while, and that's kind of how the PGA drew us in the same kind of vein. Just a different kind of game.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna get it when it comes to Xbox. It'll just be a fun little distraction for a quick pickup game here and there.
Nice, man. Yeah, no, for sure, definitely. Mike.
I
Actually,
didn't really
I think.
care about Fall Guys.
Yeah. All right. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I'm
kept.
not a Fall Guys
Yeah,
fan.
you
Yeah,
kept it short. All right. Yeah, I don't really
yeah,
care.
yeah. Like good for them though. Like like I did play it. I did play it, and I did have a good time. But I was like, I get it.
Yeah,
Like
I got
I
you.
don't know. I don't
I
know.
got you.
Like there's something there with that
Yeah.
type of game. If it was like beating the crap out of dudes and or I don't know, something a little bit more non.
Yeah.
It's just it's too cute for me. It gives me that feeling where you see something cute and you want to hit it. You know
Yeah.
what I
Oh,
mean?
you
I'm
will
like, I
get
don't
something.
like.
You'll get frustrated when you make
Oh,
your way up and you're like close to number
Yes.
one spot, and
And you
you make a
miss or
dumb
something.
jump, or somebody bumps you
Yes.
on accident or on purpose.
Yeah.
You're like, no.
Yeah.
Yes.
very true, very true.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
And then I saw the X-ray version of the characters. I'm like, that is so weird. I don't like this. It's so
Yeah.
weird.
No,
But yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I definitely see the appeal for sure.
The last topic I want to talk about is a Bloober team. So obviously we know Bloober team and their success with the medium. So apparently the studio president said that they're working on a already existing horror IP with quote a very famous publisher. This comes very recently after the Silent Hill composer Akira Yamaoka, I hope I said his name right. He stated his next project would be revealed later in 2021, and at that time he had said people pretty much are expecting this, and then apparently that statement was retracted, and they don't know who it was that retracted the statement. Now, according to VGC, Konami has given the Silent Hill IP to a prominent Japanese developer for a new game to be revealed later this year. Now, Miles Dampier with Windows Central. If you guys know him, I'm pretty sure you guys know him if you follow Windows Central. He
He's
actually said,
awesome, by the way.
yeah, he is. He's really really cool. So he actually put out a tweet today, which was very interesting, and this is why I want to bring it up. So everybody right now, everyone thinks that this is Bloober working with Konami and or either Xbox or PlayStation or whoever it is, and it seems like the writing is on the wall for it to be Silent Hill, a new. And apparently, there's two different Silent Hill games, right? That are being made. One by Bloober, and apparently another one by a Japanese developer that Konami has commissioned. So, and then what Miles said is, if you go to Silent Hill's Twitter account and you look at who they're following 25 people. Of those 25 people, the only PlayStation related account that they're following is the PlayStation official account. Outside of that, they're following Aaron Greenberg. Uh, they're following Larry Herb. They're following Phil Spencer, and they're following the official Xbox account. So I mean, he's like, look, this isn't confirming anything, but it's a little bit worth getting into. I mean, just because of the fact that they just Xbox and Bloober just recently worked together on the medium, and who knows, maybe they are funding Silent Hill, or I mean, really, who knows? But really quick, Colt, what's your take on this? I mean, I'm pretty sure do you think it's a Silent Hill game, and where do you think it'll end up?
If Bloober is partnering with Xbox for Silent Hill, there will be pandemonium in the streets. Like PlayStation fans will go not enjoy that very much at all. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the whole Silent
I
Hill
agree.
related thing where people were buying a PS4 for $1,200 because they had the demo still on it for PT. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy. I'm not a Silent Hill fan. Mo and I don't like horror games. We don't like to be scared.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but the one thing I did take away from that is Bloober said that their next horror game, will focus more on combat, which was completely missing from the medium, and which another reason why I wasn't compelled to play it. Yeah, so that could be cool.
Yeah.
Bloober still has a lot to prove. They're a smaller studio. I think they're 100 people. What's it called? Blair Witch Project didn't do all that well. Medium got average score in this,
Sure.
70s
Sure.
to mid 70s.
Sure.
But not my type of game, so I wouldn't give it any high watermarks for me. But I hope Bloober is doing something that has fun feedback and has a great story. Apparently, they can do it with the story, like the medium on immersion and the story beats. Like people enjoyed that. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure, man. That's going to be interesting. Jordan, you got anything on the medium?
Yeah, no, I think the medium was definitely Bloober's strongest game. I like the way they do their storytelling to an extent. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Layers of Fear games. It just didn't really terrify me. I didn't play Observer. But I'm with Colt though. I don't think it's going to be a Silent Hill thing because that just seems so strange. And if it is going to be combat focused, there never really was any great combat in Silent Hill. There was shooting and whatnot, but it really wasn't a focus of the game. So
got you.
I don't think it'll be Silent Hill.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, that'll be interesting to see. All right. Well, Mike, you got anything to add to Silent Hill or no?
No, again, that's scary stuff for me, man. No way. No way. I think I saw, just to add on to Silent Hills, some art director or some art dude drew some new face, and like that was some type of word going around, like a lot of retweets. It was some picture of some face kind of like torn apart or something. And so that's what I think, the Silent Hill kind of word was getting passed along, like, oh, the Silent Hill art director or artist like drew this thing, so who knows, kind of thing. But
we'll see, man. Oh yeah. Well, I guess that's all I got, boys. This has been an excellent conversation, man, and honestly it could freaking drag on for a long time. Colt, appreciate you coming, brother. Again, thank you for coming short notice. It was a pleasure, and honestly, man, if you ever have time, we would love to have you back on. Hopefully under 2 hours next time.
No, thank you. I love talking about this stuff. The best thing about talking gaming and people who get to sign in and listen to a show like this is we all work around or have family members that don't really care or are as passionate about gaming as we are. So it's good to sit and hear people that love gaming as much as you and to talk and get into the conversation. And it's really good. I really appreciate you having me on.
Appreciate you coming, man. Always, definitely. Jordan, thank you for coming too, brother. Always.
Yeah, of course.
I love you, man.
Of course, man.
You,
always a good time.
Yeah,
I love playing with you guys. I love talking to you guys.
Absolutely, man. Oh yeah. Colt, you want to tell them? Well, I mean, everybody pretty much knows you, but you want to tell them where they can find you?
Yeah, I don't know who knows me, but you can find me at Colteastwood on Twitter, and that's all one word, Colt Eastwood. And I'm on Colt Eastwood on YouTube, where I put out videos about once a week. Go check out my interview with Jason Ronald. It's about 18 minutes, but he talks a lot about this back and pat boost thing that some of the media outlets didn't get an insight into because I was lucky to be able to talk to him. So check that out. I've got that gameplay so you can see what those FPS boost games look like. And yeah, thanks for all your support, guys.
Absolutely, man. Oh yeah. Jordan, where can they find you, brother?
If you guys even care.
I care.
You can find me on Twitter and Xbox at RoguelitePAC.
All right. I love it. All right, guys. Well, for Machine Gun Mike and for me, thank you guys again for all your support, for listening, for your feedback. Appreciate you as always. And we hope you guys enjoy this episode. And until next time, this is episode 36 of the TBC, and we're out. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.
See ya.
Good night.
Bye-bye.